Stinished It is recorded on the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to any First Nations people listening.
We acknowledge the long history of storytelling undertaken on this land.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have asked for recognition in the Uluru Statement from the Heart.
We encourage you to listen to their important voices and to heed the simple, passionate plea for voice, treaty, truth when you vote in this year's referendum.
Welcome back to Stinished It, the podcast where we chat about things we've started, finished, and what we're looking forward to. I'm Reuben, and it's good to be back. It's been too long.
It's been a while. For listeners, it will be probably no time. Oh my god. Ugh.
Bless you. Bless
oh
you.
Man.
Excuse you?
I'm having a hard time.
Having the time over there.
It really the weeks that it's been has really taken a toll on me.
We're out of practice. Oh
we
yeah.
are out of practice. It's it's been a bit. For the listeners, it won't be any time really at all. No. Just regular schedule. But yeah,
you're
it's
Jett.
Oh yeah, I'm Jett. Did I not say that?
No.
Oh,
it's a good thing to know. We just jumped in.
Yeah, I'm.
That's fun too.
Co-host Jett. And yeah, I'm feeling good today. Really, really happy to be back on the pod talking about things that we've started, things that we've finished. We also have a little bit of a tweaked section.
We do.
Reuben just
trying
said,
a new thing.
Yeah, we've just said that we're going to talk about things that we're looking forward to. Mm-hmm. I think if I'm not wrong, we're going to tweak that section a bit and make it actually things that we're both like looking forward to, like things that are coming up.
Yep, as it has been.
Yeah, as it has been. And we're also going to add a little bit of a follow-up on things that we've previously maybe started, finished, have said was coming up that we haven't talked about in our, previous episodes. Like, yeah, just basically a little bit of a follow-up. So the new section's going to be called... Wait, what is it normally called?
Coming up.
Yeah, we call it coming up.
And following up.
No, yeah, that's what the new section. Yeah. Normally it's called coming up. Yep. We'll call it coming up and following up. Yeah, I think.
I think if anything, it gets funnier the more long and obtuse we make the name and sections of this podcast. Because it's Stinished It, which doesn't include coming up, which doesn't end in it, which is now coming up and following. I find that amusing.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think none of this will make sense by the end of it, and each episode will make it more and more insane, and it'll be really difficult for new listeners to come on and understand what's going on.
You got to go right back to the start.
This is a private club. First rule about Stinished It.
You don't explain the sections.
Don't explain the section. Second rule about Stinished It. Beat up your friends.
Oh.
It's Fight Club.
Is it Fight? I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen Fight Club?
I haven't seen Fight Club. Sue me.
Reuben's coming up, watching Fight Club.
Damn it.
It's fine. I mean, it's good. Fine. It's real. It's good, but it's like, You understand what I mean?
I understand what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad. So, how are we feeling coming back?
Good. This is exciting. This is fun. It takes us 3 hours to record a 90-minute podcast.
Yes.
No matter how many times we do it.
That's true.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Now, I know for myself, because we have had a bit of time since the last episode, I have a stupid amount of things.
Correct.
And we only choose one of each. We only choose one coming up. No, we only choose one finished it.
Yep.
One started it.
Yep.
And then
got him out of
choose
order.
One. Yeah, I know.
But that's okay.
one started it, one finished it.
It's been a long time. I won't criticize. We're easing back in.
I appreciate it. I'm just going to cough for 5 seconds now to make the perfect podcast. And so, yeah, we normally choose one of them, which we are still going to do, but correct. I have a ridiculous amount.
Yes. Have you combined some?
No.
Okay.
Have you combined some?
Not this week, but I've got a couple of growing lists of like thematic kind of collections of things.
Interesting.
That I'm going to try and get away with.
Are those going to be like as long as, because we normally talk about, I don't know how long we normally talk about each thing for.
Well, I feel like I'm usually stretching to talk about my things for long enough, so having 2 or 3 on a theme will probably help me.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Anyway.
I feel like I ramble on about everything that I talk about and take up too much time, but that's okay.
We balance each other out.
We balance each other out. So my issue is like for some of the things that I have, over the past couple of weeks, I'm like, oh, great, I'll talk about this.
Yes.
Okay. No, I should say, let me phrase it in this way. This podcast is actively ruining my experiences of things.
This is great. Let's go there.
Because we only choose one started it, only choose one finished it. I have been starting things and putting off finishing them because I've had a finished it lined up. Like it will actively stop me from finishing things or consuming new things because I'm like, I've already
got a started it and a finished it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The
cat is on the table.
Oh my gosh, the cat's on the table.
Chaos incoming, everyone.
Goose, why do you have to interrupt every single podcast?
We love your contributions. That's stretching the truth.
It's stretching the truth, to say the least.
Just to paint the picture, which we've done before, there's a blanket and multiple towels hanging up across our lounge room. The house is like shut tight for soundproof airtightness.
Yep.
The cat has no collar.
Yep.
We do a number of other silly things.
Yeah, we mentioned it. Listen to last episode. We gave a whole rundown.
Exactly.
But regardless of any effort we try and make to make this a seamless recording experience, Goose always finds a way to like interrupt it in some way. Goose is the name of the cat. You know this if you've listened to the other episodes.
If you're new, we're sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if you didn't, that's why we explain every little thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I do that a lot on this podcast. Like when I mention a thing, or you mention a thing, I'm like, okay, now explain the premise of that. Explain what this is. Do you reckon we need to do that?
I think it's probably helpful. I mean, it's hard to know because we don't know who the audience for this is yet. But I imagine, if I think about the people in my life, which will be initially our audience, none of them have a clue what I'm talking about with this stuff. So I think going back to basics is helpful, which is something I forget to do. And you're often like, but what is it? And I'm like, nah, yeah. So
I think this is probably, I think that it's probably a discussion that we don't need to be having on the podcast and should have off the podcast.
This is a perfect kind of production discussion to have off air.
Yeah. But I think it's worth discussing. Yeah, I think that...
Tell us who you are, listeners. Write in.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Tell us if you...
Do you have any idea what we're talking about ever?
Yeah. Would you like us to explain more?
Less.
Not stop the podcast. Just do nothing.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Just get off the airwaves.
It's not even... None of it's helpful. You don't care. You're like, why are you doing this? That would also be helpful to know.
It would.
In which case, just stop listening to us. We don't mind if we're streaming to like one person or 10 billion trillion.
There's a huge difference between one person and 0 people, though. Are you okay with 0 people?
I think I am, because I'm still having fun discussions.
Yeah, I think
are you not okay with 0
No,
people?
I just think it's a more significant difference.
You think it's a more significant difference to go from 0 to 1 than 1 to 1 billion trillion or whatever I just said?
Yep. Because 1 is, not 1. 0 is no audience.
Yes.
And every other whole number is some audience.
Sure. When you think of things as like being
everything is binary, Jett.
Nothing is it's
Wait, I've been tricked
right in
into
if you think
sentence.
Reuben has stupid maths ideas.
All right.
So, what were we talking about?
Nothing.
I was saying how the podcast is ruining my life.
Yes.
And it's been really, really bad.
Yeah.
It's also probably been something to blame for me not like taking time out of my day to just relax and enjoy things.
Yeah.
I
would just like to say that now at last you understand what it's like to be secretly playing a game where you suddenly just have to stop for a week because someone else is in the house.
Yeah.
It's really disconcerting. It messes with your flow.
This podcast has really messed with my flow. I think I'll chat about it later. I do have a finished it that I have which is the only thing that I've written notes for this episode.
Right.
I have a bunch of notes written for the finished it. I don't think I'm doing that thing.
Ooh, but will you give it a brief mention?
I might give it a brief mention. Yeah. Well, depends. I'm kind of really hoping that you've chosen it.
So you want me to go first? So
yes.
You can find out?
Let's have you go first. Reuben, what was your started it?
My started it, again, I'm in a similar position to you. A number of my started its have become finished. Nevertheless, the started it that I'm going with is Dominion Prosperity.
Okay. Okay. Have we talked about Dominion?
So I checked our notes. No, it hasn't been one of our topics. It's come up on air, but we haven't actually talked about it.
Yeah.
Dominion's a board game. It's a card game, really. It's a deck builder.
Yeah.
The kind of the grandparent of all deck builders, came out originally in 2008.
That is like the youngest grandparent that I've ever heard of.
Yeah. Board games are like video games. They're kind of new, really. Like, there's been chess and whatever.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
But basically nothing changed for like 4,000 years.
Nah, there's also checkers.
It was all gambling or like war games.
Nah, there's that other one. What's that other? Go?
Yep.
Go's pretty old.
That's a good
Backgammon's
counterpoint.
probably old.
Again, you're just naming like chess with fewer or more steps.
No, I'm just naming old games.
You're just naming things that take place in black and white squares or circles.
Yeah, that's because they only had black and white in the olden days.
Yeah, and now we have all sorts of colors. Have you seen the cards in Dominion?
Yeah, they're pretty colourful.
They're so pretty.
Not all card games are colourful. Cards Against Humanity, that's black and white.
Black and white.
I'm really poking a lot of holes in your games are a new thing here. We have new games that are black and white. We have old games that are very much board games.
Yeah.
I think that was a stupid statement, and I think you're stupid for it.
Well, I'm not going to retract it.
Oh, ridiculous.
I'm going to keep it out there. And Prosperity is one of the expansions for Dominion. It adds a bunch of money and ways to make money and more expensive things to spend money on.
Yeah.
Now you've played this with me as well. I think 3 games.
Have you been playing this with anyone else?
No comment.
Wait, have you played this with... Okay.
But I got you.
That feel really, really like disheartened and
no,
like rejected and...
No.
God, I've been trying to think of... What's that word that... I was saying this to you before the podcast. I've been forgetting words.
Yes.
Like I've been trying to think, like I'm like, oh, there's a perfect word for me to say in this sentence. And I just forget it. And I'm like, I try and get it. It took me not gonna lie, 20 minutes. I was writing up a message for work yesterday. Took me 20 minutes to think of the word that I was trying to write. That's stupid. I think something's genuinely wrong.
And you said, do I have low literacy? And I was like, no, you just like, you said it yourself. You know the words.
Yeah.
You just have a bad memory.
Yeah.
They're just not coming to the foreground of your brain.
Yeah. It's not good. Anyways, I'd feel really rejected. No? Yeah, rejected is the word that I was thinking of right now. No, I don't.
What was the word the other day?
We just went over that. I probably have very bad memory.
You have it written down.
No, I don't.
Didn't you say it was an email?
Oh yeah, it's somewhere. I think it was an email. Honestly, I just said email because it was the first. I couldn't think of exactly what it was, so I just said it was an email.
Meta.
You happy?
I love it. No,
Ridiculous.
I'm extremely unsatisfied. You would have felt rejected if I had played Dominion with other people.
Yes.
Well, I haven't.
Okay, good.
I have enjoyed this expansion the most, but it's also got some of the most broken cards,
It's stupid.
I would say. Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Great.
Dominion is my favorite game. My favorite tabletop game. My favorite deck builder. It's the first like deck builder that I've really played. That's not true. I played other ones. It's the first one that I've really loved.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I love this game. I will play it all the time, nonstop. I freaking hate Prosperity so much.
Do you think it's because we're playing with so many Prosperity cards and we haven't yet mixed them back in with the others?
No, I think it's because our second game of playing Prosperity, I was having a really bad day and you're like, let's play Dominion and that'll cheer you up.
Yeah.
And then I lost by like 7 miles.
And it was also not in a fun or interesting way.
No.
It was just a bad game.
It was like a bit drawn out too. And I was like, there's no way that I can catch up. It's stupid. I goddamn hate it. It's the worst.
Yeah. Do you think that's because of the broken cards?
I'm going to blame the broken cards, yes. Like any good board game player, when I lose, I'm going to blame the game.
I mean, especially in that game, it was because of that. But I wonder if there is something fundamentally different about.
I really don't like that you brought up Dominion for the first time as an actual like full topic thing.
And now you're speaking against Dominion?
I have to talk bad on it.
Honestly,
really
it took me a little
game.
bit by surprise. Like, I know we've had some bad games, but this is an interesting dynamic.
That one game, that's the only bad game of Dominion that I've had. I feel like every other game, I don't know if I've vocalized it. I know I have a couple of times, but every other game of Dominion that I've lost, I'm like,
I was in.
That was like, I mean, sad that I lost, I guess, but I had a lot of fun and I was still really good. Like, still really enjoyed it.
Felt like I was building something that functioned. And,
exactly. Yeah. Not with Prosperity. It's stupid. It's getting me worked up. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what the solution is. Like, we could just never touch those cards again because there's still millions of combinations.
There's a couple of them in there that are pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way that Dominion works, for people who don't know, it's... I'm not going to explain the actual game mechanics, but
you could. It's like a 5-minute teach. It's the easiest game to teach anyone. It's the best manual.
Yeah.
I have so much praise for this game.
Oh, God, it's amazing.
As someone whose responsibility it often is to learn and teach games, it's like a godsend from another dimension where games are simple but retain their complexity.
Every time that we've played it with other people, they're like, oh, I guess I have to explain how it works. That's going to be annoying.
Yeah.
And then you teach it in like 5 minutes. You're like, actually, that was fine.
Yeah.
That was
every single
fine.
time.
Yeah. So the way that it works, basically every game, like, not technically every game, but every game is basically different. Every game is different. There is a limit to that. But the reason why it's different...
but it would be millions of combinations.
Exactly. So there's different cards, like sets of cards, that do different things. And there are, I don't know, how many do you think there are in the base game?
I don't know. I could give it a quick search. It would be 20, 25?
Yeah.
It might be 25.
Just say 25. So there are 25 different types of cards, and then there are 10 of those cards. 10 of each of those individual cards, and you only play with 10 of those types in any game. So you like randomly select 10.
So one game you might be able to buy a cellar and a village and a market, and another game you might be buying a library and a spy and
a market.
A throne room. Yeah, a market. Yeah, exactly. Which will perform differently in the context of the other cards.
Yeah. So every game is different, which is fantastic. So that's another thing why it's so like, we're kind of learning it every time we play it.
Yeah. Every time I'm like, oh, Dominion, great. I know this game. And then the cards get dealt out and I'm like, I've never played this game.
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I think, that's one of the reasons why I really like it, I think, because it's not like, oh, shoot, I'm just playing this game that I played before. Yeah. Like Cluedo, I'm great at Cluedo. That's because I played it.
Yeah.
I was going to say like so much. I haven't played it that much, but I've found a strategy that just like, oh yeah, I can like either win or get close to winning just by chance. Like, like if I win or don't.
It's a solved game.
It's a solved game. I know how to do it effectively. And so anytime I play it, I'm like, great, I'm just playing this to like get through it as quickly as possible. It's not like, oh, there are new elements here that I have to sort of adapt to. So that's why Dominion's great. It's like every game is a different game. Which is normally great, except for when it's prosperity and it's stupid.
I didn't realize you were having this much trouble with it. Like I did, but I didn't realize that you were having trouble with prosperity as a whole. I thought it was just a small number of cards that, to be fair, have been removed in later editions.
Yeah, so it is a small number of cards, but I think it's tainted my experience enough because those cards have appeared in multiple of the games. And I think I've also lost most of the prosperity games. I am generally not someone who like, oh, I lost, I'm in a bad mood.
Yeah.
At least not with Dominion. I feel like everyone has that. When you lose a board game.
Yeah, it sucks. Especially if you played for an hour and a half. You're like, oh, damn.
I didn't get any like satisfying.
And it can feel, because you're building individual decks, it can feel like, oh, I played my best game and I didn't win because someone else played with a more efficient kind of engine.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. But normally it's fine with Dominion. But with prosperity, I think because I had that really bad game when I was already not feeling amazing, every other game of prosperity, I'm like, oh, it's this card that made me hate myself for an hour.
Yeah.
That's like gonna make my...
Talisman's a fun card.
It's stupid. It's the worst.
It's a little bit broken.
Yeah, it's been removed from the other
But you got great use
ones.
out of Goons. That one that's like, I get victory points and a cheaper card, and I can buy 2 of these for 2 victory points.
Yeah.
That was a crazy card.
Yeah. There are some crazy cards. I love the crazy cards that let you do a lot.
I love King's Court, which lets you play another card from your hand 3 times.
Yeah.
You don't have to play Dominion to understand the significance of that. It's like, here's a card that is good that you paid for. What if you tripled it?
Yeah. It's
crazy.
Insanely good. There are some good cards in Alchemy. So we have the base game of Dominion, and then we have 2 expansions. We have what's the first one called?
Alchemy.
And then there's Prosperity.
Yes.
We've gone through what we've done is we've gone through Dominion. There's a set amount of like preset.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
these
there's
are
5 for Dominion.
Yeah, it's like that. Here are 5 sets of the 10 cards that you can use.
Start with these.
Start with
Figure out
these.
how stuff
It's
works.
pretty balanced.
Yeah.
Which is good. Some of them are like, they have themes, like there's one called Big Money. So with that set of cards, you're more likely to get a lot more money. So you can have a very money-filled game. So they have the same for Alchemy and Prosperity. So we've gone through all the Dominion ones.
3 of each for those, like starter.
We've gone through all of the Alchemy ones, and now we're going through Prosperity. Or we've done that.
We've just finished the start. We've just finished the kind of the ones that
don't
are only
say we
Prosperity
finished it
starts.
because then it doesn't count as you're finished.
Started it because there are also 3 that are like here's
Mixed.
recommended sets of the base game and Prosperity
Yes,
cards.
yeah. I really liked Alchemy.
Here's an interesting thing: the general consensus on the internet is that
we should trust the internet. The internet's always right.
Alchemy is the worst one.
Oh, I love
or
Alchemy.
the least interesting. Like, yeah.
Alchemy, you can curse other people and they have to pick up like a curse card and it's just like in their deck and it comes up and it's also -1.
I hate curses so much.
It's -1 victory point from the end. So you have like, you have action cards, you have money cards, and then you have victory point cards. So curses are like -1 victory point. I love that because I give out a bunch of curses and that's always fun. But also I like it because it adds an extra objective to the game where it's like, okay, I'm trying to build up my deck so that I can get a lot of money to buy more victory points.
Yeah.
But when you have something else that's like this nagging, hey, get rid of me, because you can get rid of curses sometimes, depending on the card set
Depends
you have.
what you've got. Sometimes you can't, and you pick up half the deck of curses, and you finish the game on a negative score.
That was a fun game.
Just hypothetically, I wouldn't know.
No, I would. I played that game, and I gave you so many curses.
You won with like 4 points or something.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So like I like that because it adds like sort of like a side quest to the main thing.
There's also like a parallel currency called potions, which you need to buy a lot of the interesting alchemy all or just some of the alchemy cards. Which
I like it.
I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It throws my normal patterns off because I'm like, I could buy a gold or a silver. Oh, but do I need a potion?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. See, I like that because it is what an expansion should be for me.
Interesting.
It's like, here's extra mechanics that add on to this game that make you have to, now that you've mastered the base set of rules, here's some extra rules that you now have to think about. It's like Cities and Knights to Catan.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Here's some more depth.
Here's some more depth.
And a whole nother currency.
Yeah.
And also, it's harder and you can lose points now.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Cities and Knights.
It's a lot like Cities
and Knights. That's a really good analogy. I can't wait to pile in when we get to just like whatever cards we have, just like shuffling the big deck of randomizers and getting 10 cards and going, what is this?
Yeah, I'm super excited for that. That's going to be great.
When we do that, should we take out the cards that were removed for later editions, or do you want to just leave them in?
I think that we leave them in unless we draw cards that I don't like from Prosperity, and then I will say, nope, we're doing a different card.
Okay, but if anything has a potion on it, it's going.
No! I like potions. Like
potions are interesting.
Potions are interesting.
But it would be weird if you only had 1 or 2 things that you could buy with potions.
The thing is, that isn't actually like... Something interesting is if I'm like, no, I don't like that card, let's do a different card. Which like we haven't done that.
No,
it's
but
like,
you could.
You could. It actually doesn't affect the other person that much because you're both buying from the same set of cards.
Yeah.
So if it's a really good card and you're like, no, if it's a bad card, you're like, no, replace that, I want a better card. We're both like buying
it's
from
kind
that,
of like Catan when doing the randomized setup before you even know who's going first. You can be like, yeah, but do we have to have a 2 and an 11 on brick? Can we just not? And it's like, well, actually, we can just not if we want.
Exactly. I mean, it might work out differently because if I have a preference for a card and you're like, I actually never use that because it's not a part of my strategy that I normally do.
Yeah, but we also play with each other enough and are happy to probably negotiate stuff like that.
Yeah. Last game we negotiated something because we
made a mistake.
Like you were saying,
both independently made the same mistake.
Yeah. There's so kind of like with potions where you have to have a potion to buy certain cards. Was a card that you cannot buy it if you are buying with copper,
which is like the basic lowest kind of currency of the game. So you have a fair bit of it, especially early on.
Yeah. And we both bought it because we just forgot to read that bottom bit of the card that we were buying. And then I had it in my hand and I was like, I don't think I actually bought this with a copper. Oh, I mean, I don't think I bought this without a copper.
Yeah.
And you just bought one as well.
Yeah.
So we sort of had to negotiate how do we get rid of this. Yeah. And I ended up saying like, okay, let's put it back and pick up another action card that's of lower cost, like one lower, because it was like that was the only one worth like 5 or whatever, and they were like 3 worth 4. So it's like, that way it's even for both of us and we get a variety. You're like, no, I want something of equal value.
I want gold.
I want gold. Give me gold. I'm like, no. No,
I'm still mad about it.
Too much. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Have we overdone the Dominion content?
I could never overdo talking about Dominion.
Great.
I could also never overdo talking about how terrible Prosperity is.
We're going to fix Prosperity for you. We're going to get rid of some bad cards and we're going to have a goddamn good game.
Yeah. Is Prosperity one that you really like then?
I think so. We've only played the 2 expansions.
To me, it just feels like...
It just makes me feel rich. I just love throwing all the gold around and doing the crazy actions.
I don't know. To me, it just feels like just the same as the base game, but with worse, more unbalanced cards.
Yeah, but if you take them out, then it's the same as the base game, but with just more.
Nah. Okay. We'll see.
Some of those cards are more interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them they remove, but like Trade Route and Grand Market, which you were just talking about, like those are interesting kind of clauses that aren't anywhere in the base game.
Yeah.
So that's new to me.
Yeah. Maybe we get the replacement cards, whatever they replace for the, because we have the first edition.
Yes.
Which means we have so many cards that they took out and replaced. So maybe we should, we've talked about this before. Maybe get the replaced cards.
Pack,
Even like playing with the top-up pack and the original like messed up cards could be okay.
You can. Why not?
Yeah. Side note. I keep on going to swear on this episode. I'm like, are we still I think I've sworn on every other
episode. You have
episode.
on every previous episode and I never have.
That's really funny. So like I keep going to swear and I'm like, oh no, I'll use a different word. Should I keep doing that? What's our
another off-air conversation.
Yeah, this is another off-air conversation.
This is not.
That I'm going to demand that we have on air in the middle of our Dominion conversation. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I just think
Fuck.
That was really good.
Thank you.
What's your start at it?
My start at it is... Oh, shoot. Oh, shit. What's my start at it? Let me look through. Okay.
Do you have notes in... I'm sorry. Do you have notes in 2 separate places?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I have notes on my phone for the Finished It that I probably won't do.
Okay.
And then I have notes on my little notepad for the list of all of the things.
Is your little notepad at your start at it, though?
It's one of the 4 options. I also have 5... So I have 4 started at options, 5 finished at options, 1 coming up, and no follow-ups.
5 finished it. Get on my level.
How many do you have?
Well, I've crossed out a few that I'm not going to return to, but total.
You're really leaving a very long pause here, and for an audio medium, that is terrible.
I have at least 14.
14! Jesus.
A good long pause is good. Speaking of good long pauses, make sure we leave a long pause after you say you're started it, which is...
my started it is, I've started using the this is going to be super, like, freaking, I don't know.
We just did 20 minutes on Dominion Prosperity.
Okay, yeah, it's using the beta software for iOS, macOS, watchOS, and iPadOS, all announced at WWDC 23.
Okay, I've left a pause.
Yeah, nice.
Can I roll my eyes now?
Yeah, roll your eyes now.
No, this will be... I mean, interesting for me personally.
Oh
my God.
Ooh-ah.
This will be interesting for me personally because I have
an iPhone now.
Followed Jett following this for so many years. No, it'll arrive when it arrives and I'll go, oh, they slightly changed the design and then forget about it. But I'm interested in your investment in it.
Okay.
As for the listeners, I don't know, get invested this year because it'll be back next year.
It'll be back next year. So WWDC. That is...
Ooh, I know this one.
What is it?
I know this one.
What is it? Reuben has his hand up.
Worldwide Developer conference.
Yeah, nice. Now,
Thank
what's the
God.
23 stand for?
There was 23. Did they announce the iPhone 23?
No, they killed 23 people in the audience. It was a Hunger Games style, just random
So
selection.
they do one more every year, or is it just the first time?
No, that's their one more thing. They're like, one more thing. It's
Oh, the thing they
2023,
spent
so we're
40
going to
minutes
kill
on.
23 of you.
Okay, all right.
Apple is murderers.
Yeah. What's new?
Yeah, good point. So yeah, it's a worldwide developer conference. I don't know why I just went on a Apple kill people. Just
I don't know.
It's a worldwide developer conference. It's their conference where they talk about all of their developer side of stuff. So the people developing apps and things.
The nerd stuff.
All the nerd stuff.
Mhm.
They have two main like big keynotes each year.
Mhm.
They have WWDC, which happens at the start of June. Which normally the 6th or 7th.
And then they launch an iPhone in September?
In September, that's when they
God,
do
I'm
product
good.
launches. This is, maybe you should be talking about this.
No.
Looking forward to September when you're like, I started looking at the trailer for the new iPhone. In September they do new iPhone. Like that's generally their big product launches. So they'll do new iPhone, then they'll do new. What are you doing?
I'm removing my hair clip. It's very loud.
It's a really
Can
creepy
you hear it in
sound.
real life?
I can hear it in
I can
real
hear
life.
it in the headphones.
You can hear. Oh my God! No, that's gonna be awful. No.
It's really bad.
People are gonna hate
We're gonna
that.
cut all of this.
No, we're keeping it in.
Okay, great.
God, I'm so sorry, listener.
I'm not.
You should have been one of the 23.
Oh. We've just sunk to the level of death threats. Now, what is this, episode 5? And we're ready to murder each other for making more sound?
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah,
Sorry,
so
I've really derailed this.
in September they announced iPhones and then new watch and sometimes some computers and probably a new iPad. Also in spring, which is I don't know when spring is for them. When's spring?
Autumn, so
around
it's
that
over.
time.
It's now. It's finished.
Now is spring?
Well, we're just finishing autumn coming into winter, so they would be finishing spring.
Oh
coming
yeah,
into
they normally
summer.
have like a spring event, like in the first third of the year, where they do like a new iPad and a couple of new computers or whatever. But yeah, this is their developer one. So this is actually where they announce the new software for all of their devices. So the new version of iOS, as I said before, iOS, not Android. That's the iOS, Mac OS, iPad OS, Watch OS, and also like TV OS, which they've really like stopped doing a whole lot of lately.
I have some questions.
Okay.
Before you keep going.
Yeah.
What time was it?
What time was it?
What time was WWDC?
Oh, it was like 5 or 6 p.m. or something.
What time was it in Australia?
It was 3 a.m.
How much did you have to break your devices this year to get the new software?
I was
On a scale of, I don't know. It was easy to. I had to hack it.
Didn't have to hack it, but it was fine. It was actually way simpler than it has been in previous years.
Interesting.
So it took me a while though, because I woke up. I was like, every year I wake up at like 3 a.m. to watch it. Don't laugh at me, like it's not a normal thing. Because I have to watch it live. But this week I was like, you are laughing at me.
Yeah, I am now.
I was like, I'm
now because you tried to pass it off as normal. I wouldn't laugh at you for being an individual and unique human with passions, but I would laugh at you for passing them off as regular human beings to do.
Anyways, I did the normal thing of when I was going to bed, I set like 3 alarms just before 3 a.m. And then I actually turned those off after 5 minutes, being like, actually, I don't want to wake up that early. So I was like, I just won't watch it. I'll just watch it when like in the morning. When I naturally wake up. Anyway, I naturally woke up at like 3:20, which is better than other years, because in other years I've had alarms on, and I've been like more excited for it. Yeah, I was still pretty excited this year, but like way more excited for it. And I would wake up like 2 or 3 times before 3 a.m. thinking, oh shit, have I missed it? Yeah, that was the worst. So this time, turned the alarms off, was like, no, I'm going to accept that I'm not going to watch it. Woke up at 3:20. It's like, oh, what's the time? Oh shit, it's on. Yeah, might as well watch it now. So I watched it from, like 3:20 to it finished at about 5 a.m., bit after 5. And then I was like, great, now I just need to download. I want to download all of the new updates. They're beta updates, so they're only available for developers. I have an Apple developer account because I develop things sometimes. And I tried to download it, but the website just wouldn't load. It just was no, we're doing maintenance. So I'm like, great, they're doing maintenance at the moment, probably because of this. I'm just going to keep refreshing because the event's over. Now they'll have it up so that you can download it. I forgot that in the past, maybe it was in the past, since last year, maybe it was the year before, they stopped doing it through the website and you can just do it on your device and just select the beta and then install it. It's more complicated than that, but that's the basic thing. So I stayed up from 5 to 5:40, just refreshing. I had a 5-minute nap in there as well. Just trying to download it because I was so tired that I forgot the new way of doing it. So I didn't have to hack anything or to make it work. I just forgot how to properly do it because I was so freaking exhausted. And then, the reason why I wanted to do it then is because I was like, oh, it'll download, it'll take a while. And then by the time I wake up, it'll
just take hours.
Yeah. It didn't take hours this time. It took 30 minutes, which is good. But it has in terms of breaking my device, it has to some degree, which happens every year. Every time you download these betas, especially right off WWDC, they say, when you download it, it's only download this on developer devices. Don't download this if this is just your personal device. Only do it if you're trying to develop apps for the new software, for the new OS, the new operating system. That's what it's for. The reason why it releases earlier now, before it releases to the public, it will release to the public in September with the new phones. So when you get what iPhone are they up to?
14 is next? Or is 15 next?
I think 15's next.
15's next.
So when you, if you buy an iPhone 15 this year, it'll come preloaded with iOS 17. So that's when it goes out to the public. The reason why they allow it now for developers is so that they can develop for it to make sure everything works and whatever.
You want to polish off an app to release with the new phone.
Exactly. If there are new features that you want to integrate, I don't know, they have
widgets.
Widgets.
Widgets do things now.
Exactly. If you want to make sure you have widgets that are working in the way that iOS 17 shows the widgets, then download the beta and get working. Get it polished up before September. So, but the reason why it says only do this on developer things, developer devices, is because it isn't ready yet.
It's a beta.
It's arguably ready in September when everyone gets it.
Yeah.
iPhones all the time, not all the time, they're pretty good. Especially compared to Android with being on so many different devices that the device, I don't know, that can be a little finicky. But on iPhones, for example, they will crash sometimes. You're oh, what happened? They crash way more when you're using software that is not meant to be used yet.
Yes.
So already in the past couple of days, now I don't know if this is my fault or not, but I was texting one of our friends who is currently in Europe.
Yes.
And she was messaging me a bunch of messages and photos. And then I was messaging back. The photos weren't coming through, but for some weird reason. But I sent a message and then it showed up to her as if she'd sent the message.
What?
It was fine on my end, but it was she had sent me the message that I sent her.
Your beta affected the data in such a way that their phone displayed it wrong.
Yes.
That's freakish.
I know. And I think also all the photos that that she sent to me.
Yeah.
It showed that I'd sent to her or that she'd sent to herself, maybe?
Weird.
It was super weird. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's probably me. And she was like, well, I also am switching between 2 SIM cards at the moment because I'm traveling. So I don't know if that was this or that, but otherwise, software's been pretty solid.
Right.
Had a couple of crashes on the iPad OS for Spotify for some reason. But yeah, a lot of apps will not be working amazingly on the beta
because they haven't updated it yet because they just got their hands on it
exactly
this week.
Yes. Yep. So that's me explaining this whole process of the whole event that is WWDC in my life. do you have any questions? Should I go through like the things that were announced?
Yeah, what's exciting? I mean, I know of one big thing.
Okay, so there's one big thing. There's one more thing that took up 40 minutes of the 2-hour presentation. And that...
Oh, like our coming up.
Yes, exactly.
One more thing that takes up 40 minutes.
Yeah. It is the Apple Vision Pro. This is a mixed reality headset that looks like ski goggles, essentially. That basically it's like a VR headset. And this has been not exactly rumored that Apple was working on this. Everyone knew that Apple has been working on this. Everyone's known for like the past 5 years. And it's like, is it coming this year? Nope, not this year. Is it coming this year? Nope, not this year. Mm-hmm. It's been like 5 or 6 years. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, has said multiple times in interviews like, oh, we're really interested in AR and VR and the possibilities of that. That's something that's a big passion of mine, blah, blah, blah. So it's clear that that's something that they've been working hard on.
And I mean, Apple's competitors have all been coming into this market. Like PlayStation has one.
Yeah.
Microsoft has a headset.
Yeah.
Facebook/Meta has a headset.
Yeah.
So something is
They
happening.
announced
clearly.
a new one the other week. That's like a week ago. That's like $500 or something, or $350 or $400. I don't know.
Funny you should mention price. What's Apple going to charge for this thing that they want to put in everyone's homes?
$3,500 American, which is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
However, I found it really interesting the way that they positioned that pricing, because they said first of all, when they were announcing the price, they did it in an interesting way where whoever was talking was like, oh, it's, if you got like an incredible 4K TV, this is a 4K TV, and like your complete computer system, and like your phone and your health stuff,
and your gaming,
and like imagine all of that stuff all put into one. So immediately as a viewer, I'm like, oh yeah, it costs this much for a TV. It costs like I don't know, $800, $1,000 for a good TV. If you want to get an OLED TV, like it's going to be more. If you got a computer that could do all this stuff, it's going to be $1,000 at least, blah, blah, blah.
And they called it Pro as well.
They called it Pro, which is also because they put all of their highest end stuff that they haven't implemented into anything else.
Has it got a chip in it?
Yeah, it's got the M2. And it also has the, I want to say like, I know it's not V1 for like Vision 1, but they have like a new chip specifically for the micro LED displays for the eyes that are over 4K per eye, which is just insanity. Ridiculous. And they're the size of postage stamps, the actual screen. So tiny. It had been rumored for a while that they were going to put micro LED in the Apple Watch first. But I guess they haven't done that yet. Maybe they'll do that when they announce it later this year.
I have a question for later, but keep going.
Okay. Keep it in mind. Don't forget it. So when they were saying it's all of these things in one, and you're like, oh, these things cost this amount of money.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're about to announce the price. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot. Yeah. Because they're like, hey, no, we swear it's worth it. We swear it's like we've priced it correctly.
Do you foresee this product in your life? Not necessarily immediately, but like, would it replace a TV in your life?
Oh, okay, no. I don't think so.
Because you need... That's also connected to the PlayStation and a number of other devices, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, with a TV, I want to have a communal experience. I was going to say,
a shared experience. That's the only thing not catered for.
Yeah, this is a very personal experience to the point where they've tried to really address that in their keynote, where you see the person using it, and they've mainly when you see users using it in the like announcement for it, they're always in their home or in an office. Yeah. It's never outside. So it's not like a Google Glass sort of, I'm walking down the street and I can see Google Maps in front of me. Yeah. Also, I look like a fucking dork.
I was going to say, because that sucks.
It's terrible.
And also, who's going to take $5,000 out walking with them?
Exactly. So, yeah, it's always like in home. It's showing like relaxing on the couch, and it's showing like using it as a virtual desktop sort of thing. If I'm half the time when I'm like sitting down to watch a show or a movie or play video games, it's like with you or other people. Yeah. And so if like
Hey, do you want to both put on our VR headsets and watch a show together?
Yeah, that's not what you want at all.
Yeah.
But they do have, other people in it. So like they did sort of explain how it'll be when other people like enter your room. So it's AR. It's really interesting. It's like difficult to explain.
What is AR and VR?
So AR is augmented reality. Yep. That is taking the regular things that you can see and putting stuff on top of it. Mm-hmm. VR is virtual reality. You get none of the
taking
real world.
Taking a void and putting stuff on it.
Yeah, and you're just completely immersed in something.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good background to cover before you go where you're going.
Yeah, people are calling it mixed reality because it does both.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, it seems like you're going to be using it in AR, where you'll have, just say like you're using it as a computer. So you'll have like your messages window up to like your right. You'll have like, I don't know, a spreadsheet in the center. And
what do people do for work? Who knows?
YouTube on the left, and you'll have those screens.
How to Excel for dummies up on the left.
Yeah. So that'll be sort of like surrounding you, just floating in space, and then you'll like have a keyboard in front of you. So that's sort of like the work situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then for like, so that's like AR. That'll be like floating.
Yep.
But you can also, there's a dial on the headset, and if you twist that, it changes the immersion. So it might like black out behind it, and the more you do it, the more like of the real world background sort of like disappears. So it's like it sort of expands and goes away. They have a really interesting effect with it. But it's not just like a black background. You can have it be immersive with like having a real photo of like a mountain scape or something.
Like a screensaver, but
like
VR?
A screensaver. Yeah.
Huh.
And you can have it so that you can also dial in how much you want to be in. Like,
how much mountain?
Yeah, how much mountain. And I don't think it's just a photo. I think it might be a video to make it like more natural. And
like a bird flying across a cloud drifting or something.
Yeah. It's really interesting that they both only had humans. They didn't have really any digital humans. There is one thing where like with FaceTime, you're going to use it to, when you set up the headset, it'll scan your face. And then when you FaceTime other people with it, they'll see like a digital version of your face that looks really realistic. But besides that, it's all real people. So this isn't like Meta's, hey, here's the metaverse and like you're all like fun characters and floating around in space. It's like, no, these are humans. And also all the environments that they had as a backdrop to experiences are all real landscapes and real places.
It's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Really interesting. So very like human centered.
Yeah.
Or at least how they're trying to market it. And then like that's at work. If you're at home, you might have a big screen, like watching a movie in front of you in this virtual space. And then same thing. You can bring in that immersive sort of view of you can have like a cinema view, so it looks like you're in a cinema. I don't know if you asked a question or if I'm just like rambling at this point.
No, you're just telling us about the
AR and
Apple
VR.
Vision Pro. Yeah, that was just background before you. Yeah. Like what does a headset do?
Yeah.
And you've answered that.
And so I'll just like go through a couple of the interesting things about it. So as I said, very high quality screens for each eye. Also has like audio pods, so basically speakers that are attached to the strap that goes around your head.
Surround sound.
Is surround sound, and it goes like above your ears. It uses like it, and it pushes. So it's not like headphones that go over your ears. It's like the sound will be pushed out your ears. It uses audio ray tracing to like ray trace the area that you're in to make the audio sound realistic for that area, for that space that you're in. And there was another thing also it has 2 hours battery life if you're using a battery. The battery like is a magnetic puck that goes onto like the side of the headset, and you have like the battery in your pocket. Or you can have it plugged in, I guess, and it'll be fine forever. That's the Apple Vision Pro. You said, would I use it? Do you see this fitting into my life?
Yeah.
Not really. Not at this stage. So it's the Pro. That makes me think this is something for developers really now. Yeah. Also why they announced it at the developers conference. But in the future, they're going to have an Apple Vision, like not Pro, And that, I think, will be a more compact when they can get that technology down a bit. Maybe it won't be as, like, I don't know, immersive. It won't have all of the bells and whistles, but it'll be, I think their ideal, this is what people have been talking about for ages. Their ideal is like glasses, just to have glasses.
I've heard this as a, yeah.
Yeah. So that's in the future, maybe not for another 1 or 2 years. Like 1 year, if they had an Apple Vision in 1 year that dramatically drops the price so that people can buy it, and it's also compact, I'd be so surprised. So surprised. So I think we're still a couple of years out.
Yeah.
And that's when I would be like, do I need this? At this point, I don't want it. It also looks like goofy. And it does.
It does.
It looks
goofy. Like something designed for the world of a Humpty Dumpty movie or something.
Yeah, they've tried really, really hard and done a really great job to make it not look stupid.
Yeah. But these things all, to date, always have looked silly.
This has looked the least silly.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's also how they present
Apple,
it.
so that, they're trying to normalize it.
Yeah. I had multiple times while watching the keynote, where I was like, this looks like a Black Mirror episode. Yeah. And then I'd get out of that because I'd convince me with like a nice explanation of how things are working.
I'm just going to add something to my coming up.
Oh, okay.
Quick.
Okay, go for it.
No, I'm not. But that is coming out soon.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. And then they'd bring me back in with something and I'd forget that it looked like a Black Mirror episode. And then there'd be like one shot. I'm like, oh yeah, this looks like Black Mirror.
That's a fake person.
Yeah.
From the future.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the Apple Vision Pro. The thing that I wanted to talk the least about, to be honest.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. You said you had a question before.
Oh, have they figured out how to get the Apple Watch to test your blood sugar yet?
No.
Next year.
That's something that if they have, it'll be...
Because they're trying to do it without a needle, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to do it with light or something.
They have, it's a bit too bulky at the moment. They're trying to make it smaller.
Oh, really? Do they have the tech?
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. That's going to be...
so exciting for people with diabetes.
It's been a massive goal of theirs for a long time. Like many, many years they've been trying to do that.
Because the Apple Watch has always been a health-centered.
Yeah, from the first Apple Watch, you could track your heart rate. And then they've got ECG and fall detection and all that stuff. So maybe this year in September, that's when you'd find out about that with the new Apple Watch, because it'd have the new sensor.
The new hardware, yep.
We'll see. Yeah. So anyways, that was the Apple Vision Pro. Blah.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it's future's here, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
The future's always coming.
Yeah.
What was exciting for you then?
Oh, all of the other stuff. All of the normal stuff.
Oh.
All of the stuff that's like, here's what you can now do on the Mac and the phone and the iPad and the watch.
Great.
Which I stupidly have, like, all of those things.
Yeah.
They'll suit different needs of my life, but yeah. Some are just out of necessity. You can't use a watch without a phone still. If I could use my Apple Watch without my iPhone, love it. I don't use my iPhone. So yeah, the new operating system for those are really good. I use my iPad all the time for working on the go. And last year they announced a new what did they call it?
Does your big iPad have the M1 chip?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It does.
Yeah.
I just forgot. That wasn't just me being stupid. I genuinely...
Do you notice?
I mean,
does it let it do things? Yeah, interesting. Because they were making a big point of that. Like, it's the same chip that's in the computer.
Yeah. That was like a year ago or 2 years ago now when they did that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's fine. It's like good. It's good. Whatever. But basically, last year they allowed you to multitask on the iPad in a way of like having windows floating above each other, like a computer. That's something that you couldn't really do. You could just use like split screen before. I've been using that for the past year. I got really excited when they announced that. Then it was a bit janky. Like it just wasn't doing it exactly right because iPad apps have been always made for a certain size. So it like sort of snapped to be like a square or a particular size rectangle, not like on the computer where you can just resize a window however you want. With this new update, they're like, we've made it better. And now it's better. So that's nice.
Great.
That's good. They've completely redesigned watchOS. So the Apple Watch works completely differently. All of the apps are different. It has like a weird focus on being more colorful, which is not something that I talked about, but just something that I noticed. The buttons do different things.
Oh wow, that's pretty significant.
Yeah, the digital.
Although I
crown-
guess again, it's designed for people who are buying a new product, and so we'll be expecting to somewhat relearn
yeah.
what everything does.
Although Apple Watches are the most
Apple's very
popular
consistent.
watch in the world. So
Mm.
yeah. The digital crown, instead of having like a big like I don't know, you've probably seen it. The when you view the apps, it's like a big sort of hexagon grid. You can move around it any way you want.
I have seen that.
Yeah, now it's just like the same grid, but it's only a vertical list, so you can't move left and right,
Oh.
which makes it a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
The side button, instead of showing you your most recent apps, just shows your control center. Same as like the phone where you have your Wi-Fi, your like your headphones, your do not disturb. But that's just always on the side button now. Normally that was a swipe up from the watch face. Now when you swipe up on the watch face, you have widgets, which they brought widgets to the watch, I guess. I don't know. It's fine. They've just completely redesigned it. It's like new and interesting, but for such a small device, it's like it's not really gonna. I mean, I use my watch all the time. It's great. I love it. I'm not on it. Like, you know, I have it with me. I make calls and stuff. Like I do a bunch of stuff on it, but I'm not on it as much as I would be like on a phone and viewing all of the UI.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That's cool.
Every time Apple make a big change like this, in my experience, you're like, I don't know how I feel about it. It's fine. And then after like a few weeks, you're like, yeah, it was better. They made it better.
Yeah. I'll mention one thing about Mac OS that I thought was cool. You can now turn any website into an app. So you get that website, you just, I don't know, click a couple of buttons, and then it becomes an app on your computer. So when you open it, it'll look like an app. Like it won't show the website URL and like all of those normal website stuff. It'll just run like an app, which is really cool. Great to have. If you have like a website that you go to all the time, like your email maybe, if you want to have Gmail as an app instead of the...
Oh, yep.
I mean, you could probably get a Gmail app, but also maybe it's worse than the website. I don't know. That's fun. And then one thing that I'll mention about the phone, something that I found is really cool, is you can now make a contact poster for your contacts or your own contact. So a couple of, maybe last year, maybe the year before, Apple made it so that you can have your own photo and your own names for your contact, and that will show up for everyone. Kind of like Facebook Messenger or like WhatsApp, where you have your own contact photo and that shows up for everyone. Whereas with the phones, you've always had like a contact for other people.
Yeah, and everyone has to manually put it, rather than Jett designing Jett's image, everyone goes, oh, I've got a photo of Jett somewhere.
Exactly.
There's the cat, that'll do.
Yeah. So this, you get to design your own thing. That's been the same for a while, but now you have like a whole contact poster where it is like an image, but it's full screen, basically to display when someone's calling you. So you can design it in the same way that you can sort of design like your lock screen. So you have a bunch of different colors, a bunch of different, I don't know, settings. You can use like a Memoji if you want. You can, basically have it however you want, and it stylizes it really nicely, and it makes your contacts, when you're looking at your contacts in your app, it's like it takes up like half the screen, but it's just really nicely displayed. And so I've set mine now to a photo that I like of me, and like it's all color graded. I don't even like, it's just like has a yellow. It's like all yellow, which is great because my favorite color is yellow. And it has a bit of a grain to it. It just like looks fantastic. I'm like, this looks gorgeous, and I love this. So yeah, I don't know. I've talked for ages about this now.
We're gonna have to do like 5-minute finished it.
Yeah, or we just make it a long episode.
Maybe.
We'll see. But that's WWDC 23.
Great.
That's the thing that I've started. I'll probably complain in the next couple of weeks about how it isn't working and everything has crashed for me, but we'll see.
We look forward to that.
Yeah. Okay, with no further ado, let's go on to Finished It now.
Okay, let's do Finished It.
So Reuben, what is your Finished It?
My Finished It is Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Ah, the movie?
No, there's a movie that is out now.
Yes.
That we have not yet seen.
Yes.
This is the game, the PlayStation game.
For the PS5.
Funny you should say that. For the PS5, it's
for the PS5. It was a launch game for the PS5. It's on the PS5. Correct.
It's a kind of sequel to the
Spider-Man
game
PS4.
Spider-Man. Yep. PS4. Yep. It's
I don't know.
The
It's PS4,
weird.
but this one's for the PS5. To be clear.
Yeah. I feel like that's established now, and we can let it lapse so that when it comes back as a funny surprise,
okay,
surprise.
Sure.
I've never played anything like this. It's a sequel, but it's not. They haven't rebuilt the systems from the ground up. It's set in the same city with a lot of similar systems,
right?
But it's a different game and a sequel. I don't know. It feels like an in-between cool. It feels like Spider-Man 1.5.
Yeah. I like games like that because it was shorter, right?
It was much shorter, and that's actually one of my. This was good about the game.
I say that as if I haven't already played and finished the game.
Yeah.
2 years ago when it came out.
I have some notes. Let's see
what
I
are your
said
notes?
about this. My notes are just better overall. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
Great. My next note was shorter. Agree or disagree? We've been over this.
Yes, it is shorter.
My next note was better story.
Hold on. Some of these are opinions. Some of these are just, is it shorter? Yeah. I mean, yes. That's factually it is.
Yes. I think that leads to a more concentrated experience. There's less fluffing around. There's no backpack tokens. There's similar stuff, but there's
there's similar stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Even the side quest particularly, but even those tokens feel more integrated into the story.
Yeah,
they're more in. I wanted to do them, which was not true of the first game.
Yeah. You also played the first game.
I was very bad at video games when I played the first game.
Yes, and you also played like half of it in 2018, and then the second half of it in like 2021.
Yeah, here's the thing though. I played this one on the wrong console, and it was still better.
Ooh. I don't like that you just switched from the things that you're doing, agree or disagree, to this.
I'm halfway through that list, but we already derailed it. Do you want me to go back to that list?
Yeah, let's talk about the wrong console
through.
a little late. Yeah,
okay.
Later.
Better combat.
Wait, no, what was the one that you said before that? Because I didn't.
Better story ?
Oh, I'd say I like the Spider-Man one more.
Interesting. I think again, this is just the fact that it was shorter, so it did one thing. I mean, I kind of guessed the twists because there aren't that many characters they're playing with. So it's like, gee, who's this mysterious villain? I wonder if it could be this character who's been out of Miles' life for a number of years.
Yeah.
But even so, I don't know. I just felt like I could play through it in like maybe 10 hours or something. And I was like, great. I was invested that whole time. Yeah. Again, the 1.5 break I had in Spider-Man probably didn't help. Better combat.
Better combat? Yes, better combat.
Yes.
It has fun new, like, Miles Morales abilities. Like
it's still got the same core problem of like combat is just pressing square.
Yeah.
But I felt more like Miles, and I felt like I was having more fun and strategizing.
Did you feel like Spider-Man?
You could say I felt like Spider-Man.
That's good. That's what we want out of a Spider-Man game.
Correct. I have better traversal. I don't actually know if anything changed. I think
you got better at the game.
Yeah, possibly.
But also,
I was going to say this one was built for
PS5.
There's fun, except
there's fun tricks.
There's fun tricks. That's not what was better about it though.
Yeah.
I think maybe I was just better. There's also a few traversal abilities that you can unlock that do make mechanical changes.
Yeah.
Then I have a final note, perhaps not equally epic. The opening scene was super epic, and there was one or two boss fights that felt like really cinematic. But I was just thinking back to that Spider-Man game going, remember when I fought like Rhino and the Vulture at the same time? You know, like there was some crazy set pieces in there.
There were less villains and less big moments. Like there was, in the first game, there was that bit where like all the villains were on the raft prison and like you're swinging through the raft prison trying to like catch Electro or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. But again, it's trying to tell a more grounded story. It's set more in Harlem. The whole city's available to you, but it's grounded in a community. And I think all of that is more important to me than the showy stuff, which again was still here. And both characters are in the next game that's coming out this year. So that's going to be interesting tonally.
It will be.
I'm interested in how they tackle that challenge.
Yeah. Wait,
anyway, I played it on the wrong console or whatever. We can do that now.
Yeah, you played it. You played the PS4 because on the PS5 you can download for some reason you can download the PS4 version. I guess because you can play PS4 games on the PS5. And so
why would you want to though?
No, but like some PS4 games are not on the PS5.
Sure.
So you can it's backwards compatibility. It's great.
Yeah.
But when there's the
yes, it's
option to
great.
play to,
Yeah, correct. When when you're playing on the console that it came out on, that it is better on.
maybe
You would think that was the default. I don't know.
well, I mean, you can only store PS5 games on the internal like SSD. You can't have any PS5 games on like an external hard drive because it needs to like load it super quickly.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're full of PS5 games on your thing, and you're like, oh, I'll download this as PS4 because then I can have more games on my console. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. And to be fair to the game, it did prompt me to upgrade, and I went, I'm going to do that. But because the game's so short, it was only 3 or 4 play sessions until I went, okay, I'll upgrade this now. And then it was like one more session of a couple of hours of gaming and the story was done.
Yeah. So I came home one day and was like, oh, you're playing Miles Morales still. And you're like, yeah, it's terrible. You're like, the game's good.
I was like, it's great. It's just broken.
Yeah, it's completely broken. Things are crashing all the time. I'm clipping into things. Like I keep being sent into buildings that I'm not supposed to.
It was strange. I was in just a locked, empty corridor at one point with another character just like glitching out on the floor in spasms. It was very odd.
And I was like, that's never happened to me.
Yeah.
That's so weird because like when I played it, this was fine. So it would be very weird if they like patched the game and it got worse. I was like, what? Are you playing it on the PS5? And you're like, yeah. I'm like,
I was like, it told me to upgrade to the other one.
Yeah.
But like, I'm playing on the PS5.
I'm like, oh, let's look into it. Yeah, it turns out you just chose the PS4 version. When you download it, it has 2 big buttons saying, would you like to do the PS4 one or the PS5 one?
To be fair, the images are very big and identical, and down the bottom they have a tiny thing that says either 4 or 5. It's pretty small.
It's not that tiny.
The couch was on the far wall at this point.
No, I don't think it was at this point.
It was when I went to upgrade it the first time without you.
Ridiculous. Still no excuse because it has a 4 on the left and a 5, and you're like, oh yeah, 4 or 5. Like it goes up. Like you should have looked at when it's like choose 2 options. Look at the options. No,
I don't know.
Look at you don't.
By that point, I was so many menus deep. I was like, well, I'm way out of my depth. These look the same. To be fair, I thought
there were 2 of them.
I thought one was the disc version that you used to own. And I was like, well, I can't press the one I'm not already using because that's the disc that we no longer own.
Oh my god. So you played a worse version of the game for like all but the last mission, basically.
And also, this isn't, I mean, I guess it's fairly minor details. I'm just trying to explain to the listeners what the differences are. 4 and 5 are fairly similar, I guess, except for the controller. I mean, there's ray tracing and stuff that I don't notice in performance or whatever, which I instantly notice, but I say I don't notice. But the biggest difference for me as a video game noob is sometimes the controller shakes in PS5 games, and in PS4 games, it doesn't. This is called haptic feedback, and it's also the actual vibration's got another name, doesn't it?
No, there's the shaking that's vibration that's just what the PS4 has. The PS5 has haptic feedback, which is way more detailed.
And also it's got
vibration.
like dynamic, like
and then it
side
has
to side
adaptive triggers.
Yeah, which are they're fun.
Yeah. So
if you pull on a heavy thing, it's hard. It's physically harder to move the plastic on the controller, which is something you can explain a million times, and people don't care. And then they try it and they go, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
it's amazing what a difference it makes.
It really is. So I think also a massive difference is the game doesn't crash. The game doesn't put you in random hallways that you can't get out of without. That
didn't even bother me that much. Like, of course, I would rather not have a broken game, but doesn't bother. Made less of a difference than the haptics.
That's stupid. The game keeps stopping me from playing the game. It's fine. Also, it takes so much longer to load. When I was trying to load the PS4 version, it took like 5 minutes to get it up. And then
the PS5... You only open it once.
It still took longer. Like
these are things that I don't care about.
Yeah, but... Okay, so to be clear. So the things you don't care about. Things crashing. Things being stuck in areas that like you're not supposed to be in, it just glitched out. The frame rate being worse. The controls being like no vibration.
Yeah. Let me clarify why I don't
That's why you love Jack 2, because it's a PS2 game and it has all those issues.
Let me clarify about those things. The first 3 you said, I don't care about because there's a modern design philosophy, reasonable checkpoints, and difficulty and accessibility options, which mean that I can restart like 30 seconds back from where I was rather than multiple minutes in a level that I don't want to be playing that I can't do. And the fourth one was the controller, which I said it does make a difference.
That's dependent on the game. Because if you were playing a Dark Souls with no checkpoints.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah, but you could be.
I'm not. I could be playing a game that was inspired by the Dark Souls genre with resting points called Jedi Survivor, but I'm not because we're in a stalemate about who's going to buy that.
It's you.
It's you.
I don't want it.
I don't want it either.
Okay, you don't want this game.
I just keep bringing it up because I know that you want it.
Sure. You liked it. You liked the game.
I liked it, and I think it's better.
Yeah, I think it has fun characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Well, like I enjoyed Miles. I enjoyed Peter, who was in it briefly.
I like the smaller scale of it. Like in the same way that like the smaller world, the same as the like Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales movie, where it's a smaller world than Spider-Man.
They feel grounded in their communities.
Exactly. You have like interesting characters that are unique to those communities. Not like unique, like they only exist in this community, but you have like regular people. Like there's a bodega that you go into a couple of times.
Street level.
Yeah, like street level stuff, which is what Spider-Man's meant to be. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah. So I think that's really fun. There's like a character who's deaf in the game.
Oh yeah, it's more work. It's more. There is better representation.
Yeah, like that. Miles like signs to her. Yep. Like it's all like I don't know. It just feels a lot more grounded.
In the same way that we complained about God of War Ragnarok being slightly less compelling and tied together in multiple tiny ways. This is just slightly better put together in multiple tiny ways because they were iterating on the first.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited for Spider-Man 2 then?
I am.
Yeah.
September? It's coming out this year.
It's coming out this year. You play as both, Peter and Miles and switch between them.
They redesigned all the UI and I hate it, but I'm sure I'll get used to it in like 5 minutes. Apple style.
I will also hate it and keep hating it. I hated the first game's UI. I thought it was way too much.
Now you've got used to it.
Yeah. Why is all Spider-Man stuff like all techie and blue?
He's very techie.
He's not a techie character.
Yeah.
He got bit by a spider and now he can shoot like, well, actually, depending on the version, he can shoot organic webs out of his skin or he has the web shooters.
Yeah. But they have to gamify it and that's an easy way to do that, I guess. They're basically copying the Batman Arkham games. So.
Yeah. Or like
where the tech makes sense because he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Spider-Man has no money and is like living in his aunt's place for most of the time or in a terrible flat.
He owns a house now.
Yeah, he owns a house now, apparently. We found that out.
As of Miles Morales.
Cutscene, or not a cutscene.
No, he was just on a phone call.
Yeah.
Zooming around.
He was like, I just moved into my new place or whatever. Great. Spider-Man the homeowner.
Great. His villain arc.
That
was the joke I made at the time.
Yeah, it was a good joke.
Thank you.
Still a good joke.
Rental crisis.
Yeah.
Another rate rise on Tuesday just happened.
Really?
This is a fun joke because it's relevant and relatable to our audience. How you doing out there, folks?
I hate this joke. It means that we have to pay more, maybe.
Yeah, but Spider-Man's making money.
Oh, I forgot
if he has a mortgage. I don't know.
No wonder he can pay for all this tech. He is a billionaire because he's a freaking landlord. Okay. Is that your finished it?
That's my finished it. What have you finished?
Oh, I have a bunch of things. Okay. I have so many things.
Take a chance.
So I finished. Oh God, what did I finish? Okay, I'm gonna talk about the thing that I wrote notes on.
Okay, can I guess? No, that'll muck up the format. You better tell me.
Okay, God, we keep doing Marvel things. We do.
Yeah.
It might be because we're into.
I can think of 3.
Yeah, we've had like 4 episodes.
Yeah, each which have 6 things.
Yeah.
So that's like 3 out of 24.
That still seems like a large percentage. Anyways, the thing that I'm going to talk about is a thing that I watched. What's the date today? Today is this date.
7th?
I didn't want to date the episode, Reuben. I wanted to make it ambiguous.
Today is when the 7th of a certain month.
Okay, it was like 3 weeks ago.
Really? Has it been that long?
Wait.
That doesn't sound right.
1, 2, 3.5 weeks ago.
Wow.
since I watched this thing, not since we last recorded.
Now I'm hesitating. No, okay.
I'm going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was
Volume
hoping
3.
you would, because I didn't want to bring it up.
Why didn't you want to bring it up?
Because then it's one less finish I can fit in.
Yeah. No, I have so many notes. I'm going to show you the notes that I have.
Oh
on
my
this.
god, it's physically exhausting to look at.
It's
You better
really
run
long.
through those with minimal additional comments.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, how do you want to tackle this?
I think
Do
talking
you
about
wanna monologue it?
WWDC really wore me out.
Yeah.
That was a long time. So I'm like, there's so many things that I've written down here. I'm probably just going to list out the things that I wrote.
Right.
So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, you also saw it.
I saw it.
We saw it separately, like a day apart from each other. We actually went into the same cinema and walked into different.
And both promised to talk about it on the podcast, and only Jett did. I get it.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Tell me what it's about, Reuben, while I look at my notes.
It's the Guardians you know and love. It's the third movie with them. It's the final movie with James Gunn directing before he heads over to DC, and probably the final movie with this group of Guardians. So it's kind of like a goodbye and a victory lap is what the marketing told us.
Yeah.
It's what one member of the Guardians is in peril and the others go on a fun quest through the universe to try to save that member of the Guardians.
That's a really good explanation.
I was really happy with that.
That was a really good synopsis.
Thank you.
Everyone loves the Guardians films.
Correct. Even people who don't like the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Are like, oh, Guardians, I know them.
Yeah, that was the good ones.
Yeah.
This is the best out of them. I think the best out of the Guardians films.
Interesting. I haven't watched the first one in a long time.
I thought you were just going to say you haven't watched the first one.
So I can't agree or disagree, but I can totally...
Everyone that I know has watched the first one like a billion times. Because it's just a really good, solid film.
Yep.
But this third one, I think it was more emotional. I think it was like more compelling. It did wrap up the Guardian story really well.
And then open it back up again, but we'll get there.
A little bit, yeah. So Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Here are my notes. Gamora is a badass.
Yep.
She has, so also, if you don't know, Gamora, one of the members, died in Avengers Infinity War, and then a different version of her from a different universe came into this universe. And so her and like Star-Lord, Peter Quill, had a relationship prior to this, but because this new universe version of Gamora is now here, he's like, I am in love with you when you died, but you're back now and I get to love you again. And she's like, fuck off.
You're a stranger.
I don't know who you are. Yeah. You like actively
like original
revolt me.
Gamora.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, she has one monologue in particular, just saying fuck off Quill, and it's great. Yeah, I like that. This kind of has spoilers.
Let's do it no spoilers first.
Okay,
Is there
we'll do
anything
no
else you
spoilers.
want to say no spoilers? And then I think we should go most of it with spoilers, because that's where all the juicy stuff is for this film.
Okay, I'm scanning through my stuff to find what doesn't have spoilers. There's lots of practical makeup. I think that's really good for something that is, here's space.
Yep.
To be doing it so practically and have really interesting practical outfits and makeup is fantastic. It really does ground it, because they could go like a Valorian, route where it's all CGI and nothing feels tangible at all. So I think that was really good. Blah 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 blah. I'm so confused. I'm trying to look through these and trying to find non-spoiler stuff.
Don't overthink it. We'll just go spoilers when we're ready.
Okay, Guardians being Guardians and doing incorrect shit is great.
Yep.
That's something that I've really loved about the Guardians of the Galaxy video game that I've been playing, that I've talked about in a previous episode. Not something that I think was as present in the first two movies, but they are like a bad team. Like, they're a team. Yeah. But they don't communicate very well.
That's always been my favorite thing about them.
Yeah, there's like multiple points where one group, like they've split up, and one group of the team thinks that the other group is like in a certain place, but they're not. So they like go there to try and like save them, and then they like can't find them, and then get on a call. It's like, oh yeah, we aren't there. We like left.
Yeah.
It's great. So just them doing incorrect stuff is just
Yep.
so fun.
James Gunn's very good at that. See also The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it had real like good callbacks to like 90s film style, like 90s kids films,
Interesting.
in the way that like 80s, 90s, like the film is kind of scary. Like I wouldn't really take a kid to it. It's not like it's scary and like dark and emotional in a way that late 80s, 90s, maybe even some early 2000s kids films are like, this doesn't feel, it's not just like it's not like Trolls or like the Emoji Movie or Mario where it's all happy.
Yeah.
Like it's scary. But it is a kids-ish film. So I think that was like, I like that. I like a younger audience film with a bit of depth to it. That's fun. Adam Warlock is in this film. Adam Warlock was teased at the end of Guardians 2. They were maybe going to use him in Infinity War. He's basically a synthetic human that's meant to be the best of the best.
He's got funny gold makeup on.
And
his mum is Elizabeth Debicki, who is great.
It's great. He's a big player in the comics, meant to be super powerful. In this, he's stupid and that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, he's just been born, essentially.
Yeah.
So he's just like, you'd think he's going to be super badass if you know about, like, the Infinity Saga and the comics. And, you know, like, he was hyped up at the end of Guardians 2. So to see him now, and he's just like a big baby.
Yep.
Some
fun. Audiences didn't like that. I think it's fun.
I think it's fun. I think it's a big swing, which Reuben famously loves big swings.
You think everything's a big swing.
I do. This film has kids.
Classic Jett.
Kids films with kids are great.
Here's my question. Did you enjoy this more than Thor Love and Thunder?
Yes.
That had more kids in it. What gives?
No, this had more kids.
What?
Think at the end.
Think of the giant army of kids at the end of Thor.
Think at the end of this.
More than like kids.
Yeah. Lots of kids.
Yeah.
Great kids films have kids in them. To quote Spy Kids, it needs
children.
Children, yeah.
More children or children?
No, it just needs. I think it needs children.
It's just it needs children.
Yeah, kids films need kids. They need to see themselves on screen. Like it's.
Jett has a video essay about this. We will link to it in the episode description.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, sure.
I don't even have to.
No, we will.
It's relevant.
We're gonna link it in the description. Go watch it. I don't think it's gotten it got a big spike in views when it first came out, and then
because it's great.
Thank you. There's a. No, that's a spoiler, I guess.
We can jump straight into spoilers.
No, I want to find the things that aren't spoilers.
I don't think many people will be skipping spoilers. I think everyone who's going to see this has, and everyone else won't be seeing it.
Nebula breakages are fun. Nebula being like a cyborg character who in the past we've seen a couple of things where she like her like arm like snaps the wrong way and she can like snap it back. There's like more of that in this film. It's so fun, and I haven't liked her really in the other films. Interesting. She has become a favorite in this film.
Okay, wow, I have thoughts and responses.
Okay, do you want to give them now?
Yeah, sure, because it's quick.
Yeah.
I thought that she shone in Guardians 2 and especially in the Infinity War and Endgame. And I didn't enjoy her as much as a full member of the team. I thought she was less interesting in that role in this movie. She's great. Karen Gillan's very good.
Karen Gillan's fantastic.
But I think the adversarial relationship was so interesting. I mean, it's nice. Yeah. It's always nice to see a character that you have sympathy for kind of welcomed into the fold and starting to heal.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's less interesting content than everyone arguing with each other, which they still do.
I don't think that she can be that all the time. Like, then you have no character growth.
Yeah. It's tricky. This is the problem with telling 25 movies. It's like, sometimes these stories are finished.
I think...
Not that one, but... Yeah.
I was like, she's an adversary in the other ones, and like she's just, I don't know. She was fine, she was okay, wasn't a favorite, but now that there was more of her, I think that's why I really liked it. And she does argue. You're right. Like they all argue. Yeah. But that leads on to my next point of the new Guardians. No. What is it? This Guardians team, really just formed over time, and didn't realize it. Like, it's grown since the first film. They have more people, including Nebula. And it was wild coming into this one. Like, they got Mantis Mantis was in Volume 2, and now Nebula's in this one. I think that's all of them. But it sort of formed without thinking, like, it wasn't like, we picked up this person and now they're a part of the group.
We picked up Thor and now he's gone to do a different movie.
Because we don't want
James Gunn doesn't want to write him.
No. What? Yeah. Stupid decision. Anyways, that's fun watching this and being like, oh, this sort of just happened. I've just been following along the story, and it really made it feel like one cohesive story instead of like, I don't know.
As a trilogy, these stand out more than everything else. In the same way that first movie was like, oh, look, a different thing that's colorful and in space.
Yeah.
This feels like, look, a different thing where we resolve character tensions and kill villains and whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The set designs and worlds were incredible.
Yep.
Everything feels really thought out and satisfying and like fun in a really thought out way. Okay, the Guardians fits in this film. Really, really cool. Mainly, I think because they they take inspiration from I don't know what year it was, but the Guardians of the Galaxy comics that were this team, like this main team with Star-Lord as the leader, that was, I don't know, maybe sometime in the 2000s or 2010s. And it's that blue suit that's like, I don't know, kind of a jumpsuit thing. Love that suit. Think it looks super cool. So to see that in this, I was like, great. This is, they've come to that stage and that's really fun. I don't know, I really like them. The question I had at the start of the film, Cosmo, the space dog, he's just there. Is it a...
Played by Anya Taylor-Joy, so I'm going to assume that it's female, but I don't...
I think
we watched the Christmas special. Remember that movie?
No, I don't.
We watched it.
Is that where Cosmo came from?
Yes.
Because I really didn't. I was
but
like,
even then, the answer was
also. I think
just
Cosmo's
on nowhere.
like played by a male actor in the game. So that's why I was
Yeah.
Cosmo
was just on nowhere.
Oh, Cosmo was just
that
on
was
nowhere.
The whole
okay.
Answer.
Well, because I started watching this and I was like, where the frick did Cosmo come from?
Yeah.
Great. That's good to know. Groot looks different.
Yes.
Groot is like a fully grown Groot now.
I think Groot's a person in a suit is why.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. Because they can just CGI remove someone in a suit. Like, Groot's not like a full person. No. But like, Groot's face looks different.
Yeah.
Since the first film where I really like the more slimmer Groot. Since becoming a baby and then growing up, they've changed Groot's facial structure. This is so weird to be like, they've changed the facial structure of this plant humanoid
this
thing
is weird
that doesn't talk, but it's just like a different design, and it's just I'm like, why is Groot why does Groot have a different face? I don't know. I like the first one better with like
maybe
the
you know when like a tree falls over and then if it's still connected to water, its branches start growing upwards into trees. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Well, they're like a different shape.
Sure. Okay.
So it's like 2% of original Groot grown back.
Yeah.
Maybe he's
but like every DNA has all of the DNA for everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. That's all of my that's all of my non-spoiler
Great, let's do spoilers.
Great. Spoilers.
No one dies.
Nobody
Shocking.
dies. You really think someone's gonna die because they're like, this is the final Guardians film. No one dies. That's really fun. I knew that Quill wasn't going to die. When Quill was in space?
Yeah.
No. I didn't have it spoiled.
Oh, you were just
This is the thing. Quill is in space at one point. Looks like he's going to die.
Yeah.
He's like going all puffy. And because he goes like really puffy and his face gets real distorted and like gross and it's bad, I'm like, he's not going to die.
Right. Like that wouldn't be the way they do a send-off.
They would never make Chris Pratt look like really gross and distorted compared to his normal face and kill him off in that way.
Yeah.
This has to be like, it's almost like comical
film. Yeah.
how bad he looks.
Interesting.
So I'm like, he's not going to die. That's what gave it away from me.
Yeah.
You really threw me off by jumping just straight to that. You really feel for Rocket's friends, which are really fun.
Yep. Even though you know the whole time that they're going to die.
No, I was like, maybe they escape and maybe they meet up at the end. Okay.
No.
Okay.
You can tell because of the line where he said, we're going to be best friends forever. And I went, they're dead.
That's really funny that you had that sort of like you were able to tell that. I wasn't. I think I was too hopeful.
I think you were too hopeful.
Yeah.
They were shot in a completely different, like, dark, dreary way. And I know that's because they were in, like, a horrible prison.
So cute.
They were always going to die.
Oh, no, I didn't
But then they did find a way to bring them back. Like, that surprised me, the vision of...
Oh, when they did the King's Cross scene.
What?
When Rocket's in King's Cross and meets Dumbledore.
Oh,
It's like-
I was like, what are you talking about? Yes,
Yeah.
when they did that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved the face. No. Okay, wait. No, before I say that. With Peter Quill when he's about to die, Adam Warlock touches him and pushes him back into
That's right.
the.
I was trying to remember
torment
who
of-
said it.
Yeah, it's Adam Warlock.
Mm.
But it is like the way that they're both positioned. It is
Oh, it's
Adam
and God, isn't
and
it?
Adam
Yeah.
Warlock. Yeah, Adam. That's great.
Yeah.
Is Peter Quill God?
I thought,
Oh wait,
straight around were they?
no. It was that way.
Yeah,
I just realized something that actually makes a lot of sense because I just realized that.
because the villain's always going on about how like I am your God, and he made Adam Warlock.
Yeah, no, it's more that Peter Quill actually is a god because his dad Ego
yeah.
was a celestial. So I was like, this is weird. Why are you calling Peter Quill a god? I just realized now.
Yes.
He is a god. Okay, good job, James Gunn. You
Nice
know how to
visual
reference
pun.
Christianity. The villain. Love his face tearing off.
Yep.
That's another gross thing.
Yeah. Took me ages, like until right at the end of the. When I saw the kind of way his skin was pulled at the edge of the mask,
Yeah.
my interpretation was that kind of like Nebula had just like slowly become more of a cyborg.
That's what I thought as
and
well.
even when Rocket ripped his face off,
Yeah.
kind of took me a while to then put the two and two together.
Yeah.
And realize that, he's put a fake face back on over his
it reminded me
desecrated skull.
It reminded me of the
was
Joker from the New 52 run. I don't know if you ever saw that, but
No.
like to prove he was insane, he cut his face off and then stapled it back over his face.
Stupid.
Gross,
Ridiculous.
but it's
They
kind of
also lingered on
badass.
that shot for a long time in
Yeah.
Guardians. I was like, okay, I'm kind of done looking at this disgusting skull now.
yeah. So that was
They really
fun.
pushed the PG-13. Was it M here?
I assume everything's M here.
Yeah.
All the Marvel stuff's M.
Yeah.
They have a final dance scene.
Yep.
Again, very like
I was
early
way
2000s.
more emotional about that than I thought. I was like,
Same.
oh my God, I'm saying goodbye to the Guardians,
Yeah.
which, I wasn't expecting to. Yeah.
Final dancing is really great, especially because, like, okay, one thing people have said it, like other people have said it, Drax is dancing. Drax, throughout these movies, has said, I don't dance.
Oh, that's
Dancing is for people who are weak and eat their own piss or something.
fun. That's fun.
He didn't say those words. Or those words
He
don't
would
make
though,
sense.
because he
would.
doesn't understand analogy.
Exactly. Yeah, but he's dancing, so that's really fun.
Yep.
That's great. Let's see, what else? Yeah, final dance scene is fun.
It's just good. It's everything you like about the Guardians,
Yeah, it really is. It feels
and
like
everything you have trouble with about Marvel is not. It's either not here as much, or it makes more sense in James Gunn's world.
Yeah. It's the best Guardians one. You're right. It does feel like really Guardians-y, which is what you want from a Guardians film. I really like that Rocket is now into Quill's music after this time. Like, they become really good friends, even though they argue. Like, he's over time gotten into Quill's music, which I think is kind of also fun because Rocket is also ultimately from Earth and is a raccoon.
Yeah.
So that's their Earth connection, even though raccoons don't really listen to music. I don't know. That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the one-shot hallway fight near the end.
I forgot all about that, but it was great.
Best fight scene. Also really cool because every hallway fight is cool.
Yeah.
Every one-shot hallway fight is cool, I should add.
Yeah.
There are other ones that are bad. Okay.
Some that cut are also cool, like, for example, Darth Vader. But the one-shots are something else, aren't they?
One-shots are, really, really cool, especially with like a big hallway fight against a bunch of enemies. I don't know. It's really good. It also reminded me of that fight scene in the church from Kingsman, because it goes slow-mo at multiple points.
I have real problems with that movie.
Okay.
I didn't like Kingsman.
Oh, interesting. What? I'm not going to ask why, because I have more things to say.
Don't
about
ask why.
Guardians. I only have a couple of things more to say. Great. One quote from the villain was excellent. Can you remember? I'm wondering if you can guess what the quote is.
No.
No?
No.
He says, God doesn't exist. That's why I stepped in. Such a good quote. I think someone's like, why would God like do this to us or blah, 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 blah. He's like, God doesn't exist. I had to step in to make life perfect. Such a badass quote. It's really good. You're just nodding. And
I'm
I know
just
that,
nodding. I don't
affirms
disagree.
to me that you agree, but it doesn't affirm to the listener.
Oh, I'm sorry. You need
I'm-
public validation.
I do. That my thoughts about quotes
I
are good.
agree with this comment.
This comment was endorsed by the Reuben. I was trying to think of the Australian thing. What is it?
Australian.
This comment. Yeah. What's that thing?
Oh, oh yeah, like this comment was. What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, hang on. It's like this ad was approved by the Australian Labor Party. Oh no, it's not approved. It's
This.
Oh my god! Why can I not think of it?
This comment was approved by the.
It's like licensed by that or whatever.
We don't need to talk about this.
Read by Jett Archer.
Now who has the bad memory, huh?
Still you. You brought this up and couldn't remember it.
Yeah, you
I'm
still
just
also
joining
can't
you.
remember it.
It's really annoying me.
Reuben
This will be my
can't remember
follow-up
the
next
Australian. Oh, they say something supplement.
Authorized.
Oh, authorized.
Read by Jett Archer, authorized by the Australian government, Melbourne.
Nice, good job.
The Australian government isn't in Melbourne.
No, also, they have nothing to do with this.
No.
If they did, we'd have about the same amount of money
Interesting.
putting into this.
I'm confused. I think you're
Because
making an elaborate joke.
I'm making a joke that that arts is not funded enough.
Oh, nice. Great.
By government.
That's really
and so
good.
us putting zero money into this, not zero.
More than zero.
More than zero. But it's like we wouldn't have more money if we were authorized by
love
the
it.
Australian government.
Love it.
Final thing, Groot. Oh, wait, no. Okay, one other thing, two things. Gamora, at the end, all the Guardians are hugging each other and they go back to see each other and they say goodbye or whatever. Gamora's not with them. She's with the Ravengers.
Because she would be.
Because she would be, and they're her
that's her
family.
family.
Because everyone goes back to their family. And the Guardians are a family, and sure, she was with the Guardians, but she's not.
Yep.
She wasn't with the Guardians. Her other.
Would have been weird to do anything else.
Yeah, it would have been forced, but it would be like,
Yeah.
that's how I guess the movie would make it. No, she goes back to the Ravengers. It's
Again,
great.
this is a different character.
Yes.
This is not Gamora of, I don't know, 616 or whatever the regular Marvel universe.
It's actually like 199999 or whatever they made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is different Gamora.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love
Oh,
it.
no, they did make it 616.
Did they?
Yeah, because in
Sure?
Doctor Strange, they said, you're from 616. And everyone was like, no, it's like 99999 from the. Because in the comics, the comic one is 616. Doesn't matter. My last comment on this film is Groot speaks at the end and says, I love you guys.
Yeah. Now,
yes.
there's multiple ways to interpret this. Either Groot doesn't say I am Groot, or more likely, Groot says I am Groot, but we as the audience are kind of led into understanding what he's actually saying.
Yes. Think that's it.
Yeah.
I was initially like, oh, he said I love you guys. He can speak more than I am Groot. And
Yeah,
I
that was
thought
my
about it
initial
for a
response
second,
as well.
and I was like, oh no, it is the more time you spend with Groot, like people start to understand him more. They know the inflections of his voice. Saying I am Groot means different things, I guess. I don't know. That's how I've always interpreted it. But
Which is interesting because it's actually a language, because Thor says, like, do you speak Groot?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's a language that you can learn.
That's true. But regardless of that.
But James Gunn, who wrote the Guardians dialogue in the Avengers movies, may or may not have had a say in that.
Yeah.
It's an interesting grey area.
So
The perfect nerd debate because it doesn't matter.
Exactly. But I think in the end, what it is, yeah, we as the audience have spent time with Groot and the characters in this Guardians team enough that when he says, I love you guys, it says, I am Groot, we understand what he means. And
Do you
we're
think it
part of
cost them $500,000 to bring Vin Diesel into the studio to say that line?
No, because he said, I am Groot. He records all the I am Groot lines.
I reckon he recorded all the I am Groot lines in 2014.
No, because he has scripts of all the things. He has scripts of the films that say the actual lines that Groot says.
That's
and then
great.
he records I am Groot as if he was saying those things. Nice joke though, but it's actually and factually incorrect.
I just kind of forgot for a second that Vin Diesel is a serious actor who actually acts.
I forgot that Vin Diesel played Groot.
Yeah.
Until he said, I love you guys. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God, it's Dom Toretto.
The first thing that I thought was like, like I said just before, the first thing I thought is, oh, like, I guess he can speak English.
Yeah.
That's a lie. The first thing I thought was, oh my God, it's Vin Diesel. Terrifying.
It took me years to put together that Vin Diesel was the same Vin Diesel from the Guardians of credits of the Guardians movies. I just like never thought about it.
Oh, weird. It really, I feel like undercut.
I don't think I've ever seen a Vin Diesel movie.
I have.
What have you seen?
Fast and the Furious.
Oh, you've seen something
8
Simon
or
First.
something.
Oh, wow.
I also saw
The one with the
Hobbs and
magnets?
Shaw, but that's different.
You saw Hobbs and... Oh, I
Yeah.
knew that.
You did know that. I watched it just after I finished my year 12 exams.
You make baffling decisions.
It really undercut the moment for me because I'm like, this is Vin Diesel's voice. I don't like it. But I did like the film as a whole. So that's what I finished 3.5 weeks ago.
Love it.
Because we haven't been able to
Love it.
record for
We
3.5 weeks.
There's been a few things going on.
Has there?
We had a birthday party in this house.
That was one of my finished its.
Actually,
Having my 22nd birthday, hosting my
Ridiculous.
22nd birthday party.
Jesus, is this something you're not telling us?
Yeah, I'm actually 5 years older.
Oh
than
my God.
I am. I was held back in grade 3 for a long
5
time.
times.
Yeah. Like this kid.
You were just this towering
Okay.
teenager.
Yeah, it was great. That's my finished it. Now,
Great.
we finished the finished it section.
We have finished the finished
We are
section.
running on like an hour 40 right now,
Too bad, I got things.
which is insane.
The following section is my most anticipated section for this podcast.
Oh my God.
So
Oh my God. I'm so tired. Okay, so
get back in.
what we're
It
going to
should be
have to
quick.
do is we said we're making the coming up section, not
Yep.
just coming up.
Coming up and following. up.
Coming up and following up.
Yep.
Coming up, following up. That's what we're doing.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh no, that's the McDonald's.
Oh, Reuben. Oh no. Wait,
Sue me, McDonald's.
no, don't. We
Please
don't have money.
The Australian
Australian
government does know they'll pay.
No, they don't. And they don't.
They got money for corporations, which
That's
is what this
true.
would be.
Oh, we were also talking about how we need to make a theme for the thing.
Yeah.
Or you might have been listening to the theme this whole time.
You may have, yes.
We may have replaced all of the audio with just the theme on loop. But now I'm really fearful of making a theme for this podcast because I'm afraid that you're just going to put in the McDonald's.
I'm not.
Just
Why
the
would
McDonald's
I do that?
jingle. I don't know why you just said it then.
Me neither. Maybe it's unconsciously coded in. I've never been to McDonald's for context.
Never?
Never.
Never.
Well,
Fuck
if so,
the
I
coming
can't
up
think
and
of a
following
time.
up section. Let's talk about how you've
We're
never
not
been to
doing
McDonald's.
veto section.
Oh my God. That's
Can
really-
I? Have you got a following up, or are you just doing coming up this week?
I will do following up as well.
Right.
But
First
you
or
do coming. No, well, let's do coming up and. Oh no, you do coming up and following up. Like we're because
Oh, do both.
You
Okay.
do both.
Great.
What's coming up for you?
You don't want to go first? I know that will be a flip, but look, here's the reason. My coming up is potentially terrible content, so I wouldn't mind putting it last.
No, we're doing it first.
Great. My coming up, we're doing it now?
Oh yeah. What's
Okay.
your coming up?
My coming up, in the spirit of the Harry Potter test that you gave me that we both failed, where we couldn't remember the Marauders,
Oh yeah.
I have a little baggie here.
You have a baggie.
The baggie has some words in it.
This is Reuben, this is an audio medium.
I know, that's why it could potentially be terrible content.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was maybe saying it to
You
the
know
end.
why it's
But
also
now
terrible content?
why?
It's an hour 40 into
That's
this
gonna
podcast.
that's gonna make this
And
more
you're
fun.
bringing
Arguably.
out
I'm bringing a baggie of words.
baggie
now,
of words.
here's where this comes from.
Oh God.
I'm
yeah.
about to read another Song of Ice and Fire book. That's the Game of Thrones books by George R.R. Martin.
Great.
I was thinking about these because all of the titles sound completely interchangeable.
Yes.
And if I said which one I was reading, you wouldn't
Yes.
know if it was the first or like the seventh. There are
Definitely.
only 5 out. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to get Jett to have
Yeah.
their best guess
Yeah.
at the titles
Oh my God.
of the Song of Ice and Fire
Okay.
novels? So,
Wait, so what have you got here?
So what I have here, listeners, is a bunch of little words on paper. And they
Yeah.
say things, I'm just going to read a few out randomly. 4, swords, clash, storm, a, dance, feast,
Okay.
a, of, stuff like that.
Yep.
There are 5 novels that have been released so far.
Yep.
Jet's going to put them all together.
Yep.
Then Jet's going to try and put them in order.
Yep.
And then Jet's going to try and guess which one I'm reading next. And there's you'll score some points.
Wait, so I have to put them together, put them
Yep.
in order, and try and guess which one you're reading
Yeah,
next.
correct.
I am really glad that I have therapy after this. God,
You
okay.
shouldn't have given me that Harry Potter quiz.
That Harry Potter quiz was barely anything. It's just name the Marauders and which one
which
they
I
are.
couldn't do.
Okay, so what have we... Okay.
So you're going to try and put them together first.
I have game.
You might want to...
I'm going to do Game of Thrones because I feel like that's correct.
You
Oh,
also,
no, now I'm worried.
If you get a few right, you'll notice a pattern, and that should make the others easier.
Okay, I'm going to put the ofs and A's together because I think that's strategic.
I think this is clever.
Because it would always be like of a something.
Like the Harry Potter novels.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the blah, blah, blah of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got of, 4. What the heck is a 4? Now with 4A, we have with as well. So we're going to do, so far I have Game of Thrones, I have 2 of A's, and I have a 4A, and I have a with A, and now there's just like another A. Okay. Clash has to be a first word, I think.
I love the way you're approaching this.
Clash, no, because it could be just like clash of. Clash, oh no, swords clash. Is it King's Clash? I don't think it's crows. Clash of a swords? No. Clash of... Oh, no. No. This is terrible.
You're doing great. You're doing really well.
That's really good to hear. Kings... That's kings. I feel...
There's just one thing about the structure of all the titles.
I think I figured it out. I think that all the ones that have S's at the end, like kings, crows, dragons, swords, those are the ending ones. And I think the other ones
I like your thinking.
Are like the starting ones. So like something of dragon, something of king, something of swords. So I'm going to put all of the ones that end in S's together. And yep, there we go. So, okay. We have dragons, swords, crows, kings. Now with A, what would with A be? Wait, no. Let me match the first words. So I'm trying to talk through my thing.
This is great. Keep talking through your thinking.
Okay. So we have dragons, swords, crows, kings.
See how interchangeable they are? It's all meaningless.
Okay. Now we have the first words, which are storm, dance, feast, clash. What I assume are the first words. Feast of crows.
I will say you're thinking through this well.
Feast of kings,
clash of kings. Will do well thinking through this way.
Clash of dragons, feast of
now this is a tricky bit, isn't it?
Okay, wait. We have one.
You can get this. You can get this.
Feast. Swords, dragons, storm of dragons, dance.
The problem you have here is if you put
don't
the
tell
word...
me the problems.
Okay.
Don't tell me the problems.
All right. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Jett currently has, for audio listeners, which is all of you, 2 lines of words.
Sorry, just for the audio listeners.
Yeah.
Just want to say this is really difficult.
On the left, they have a bunch of nouns.
For the audio listeners, I have on the left a bunch of nouns.
And then on the right, they have a bunch of plural nouns.
Was that for the audio listeners or for the video?
No, that was for the video audience who can see it.
Okay.
Which is no one. Like dragons, crows, stuff like that. And then they have a bunch of prepositions like a, of, with in between.
I feel like I have explained that the whole time that I've been...
Yeah, but
just for the audio. That was for the audio
I was
listeners?
just trying to talk so that you got a bit of a chance to think.
Oh, okay, great. With a...
Storm with the dragons.
Okay.
It's a storm with the dragons.
With the crows, with the kings, oh, wait, no, the A's could go beforehand. Okay. Wait, we have 4 A's. We have 5 A's. So I think there's going to be... Okay, so instead of the A's being like of a, with a, I think we're going to put them the start. So we have a storm, a dance, a feast, a clash. A clash with, I feel like it has to be a clash with. A feast with would be, a dance with, I don't think, no, I think it's a dance of. We have a feast for. Okay, I think I figured out what the feast is. I think it's a feast for dragons. I think that makes the most sense. Okay, we have another of a storm. Oh my gosh, a clash with. I think it's okay.
You're doing so well.
I'm saying like half my sentences. Currently, I have a storm of, a dance of, a feast for dragons, and a clash with, and I have an extra A.
Don't forget you have 3 words up the top as well.
Game of Thrones. Is it a Game of Thrones? Okay, never mind. It's a Game of Thrones, and I don't have the extra A. So. A storm of... I think we're going to go a dance of swords, because I feel like that's something that you sort of dance with. A storm of crows and a clash with kings. I think... Wait, hold on. I don't know if this is correct. A storm of crows. That sounds good. I guess my main issue is if the for and the with are in the right spot.
If the for and the withs and the ofs are switched around, I'm willing to give you half points or points.
Oh, I forgot that this is points. A clash. It could be a clash of kings, but I don't think it's a storm with a dance with swords. Oh, it could be a dance with swords. A dance with swords. A dance with sword. No, that seems too literal. Clash with kings. No, maybe it is. I'd feel like a clash with kings is not correct. I'm gonna go a clash of kings, a storm of crows, a dance with swords, and a feast for dragons.
The last change that you made was a very good change, and you're almost there.
I'm
now.
almost there.
Previously, you technically only had 2 of them right.
Oh my gosh.
And now you have
more. Okay. I still have 2.
You have 2 of them right.
No,
No, sorry. Previously, you had 1 right, and now you have 2.
A storm. It could be a storm of dragons and a feast for crows.
The problem is dragons can apply to every one of those words.
I think it's a storm of dragons and a feast for crows.
You now have 3 of them right.
Okay. How do I change that? How do I make that better? If I have 3 of them right, then I
Or
should
you
have
can
4.
take 3
Is
points
a
and
Game
move
of
on.
Thrones not one of
The
them?
Game of Thrones is correct.
Okay, great. That's set aside. A storm of dragons. Oh, wait, no, one of the ofs is in the wrong spot. No. A storm of kings? A storm of swords. A dance with dragon. I'm going to say that I'm putting this in. I'm just putting it in how it is because I think that my mental capacity is going to plummet the longer I do this. So we've got a Game of Thrones, we've got a Storm of Dragons, we've got a Dance with Swords, we've got a Feast for Crows, and we've got a Clash of Kings.
Okay.
Now, do we do points for this first?
And then I will correct them and give you a chance to do the next stages.
Great.
You've done great.
Great.
The last 2 sentences that you said before you said my final answer would have gotten you to full points.
So what is it?
It is a Dance with Dragons and a Storm of Swords.
Yeah.
Everything else was correct. You did great. That's 3 points.
Great.
Now.
Wait, no, that's 4. Wait, no, that is 3 points.
3 points.
You said half points. No, never mind. Okay, 3 points. Great.
Half points if these were fiddled around.
Have you calculated what the top amount of points is?
It's technically possible to get 10, but
okay,
that would be hard.
So I've got 3 points.
So you're now going to rearrange these in the correct order. And for every 2 that are next to each other in the right sequence, you'll get a point.
A Game of Thrones.
So if you put book 2 above book 3, wherever it is in the order, you'll still get a point.
I think the Game of Thrones must be the first one. I think A Clash of Kings is the third one. I think it's. Oh my gosh!
You're moving these so adeptly because now Jett has 5 rows of 4 pieces of tiny paper.
Yeah.
And he's currently moving them with all 4 of their fingers perfectly. It's
thank you.
Quite amazing to watch.
So we've got a clash. Thank you. I think that it. Oh no! They all just fell off my hand. I was holding them in that fun, adept way, or whatever you said.
It was so good.
I think we're gonna go a Game of Thrones, a Feast for Crows, a Clash of Kings. Did you say you were reading the third one?
I didn't say.
Ah, damn. I think we're going to go a Game of Thrones, a Feast for Crows, a Clash of Kings. For whatever reason, I think the Kings one is the third one. But it could be the second one, because I know that I've seen you reading that one.
I will only give one additional hint here, which is that I read one of these books was published in 2 parts for paperback.
Okay, so a Feast for Crows is not the second one. Because I remember you were reading the third one that was in 2 parts, like the third book, but it's technically the second book. So I think that's a Clash of Kings, because that's the one that I remember seeing you read. And so we're going to go a Game of Thrones, a Clash of Kings.
They're all completely interchangeable.
A Feast for Crows, a Storm of Swords, and a Dance with Dragons.
Okay.
Because dragons are near the end, maybe.
I was going to score these according to the ones that you had next to each other in the correct order, but I think it's more fair to score this according to how many you have in the correct place.
Yeah, great.
Which is 3.
3.
3 out of
Which
the 5.
ones? Is it Game of Thrones correct?
Game of Thrones is correct.
Clash of Kings?
Clash of Kings was really smart thinking, remembering that you'd see me reading it, because that is second.
Great.
Storm of Swords is before Feast for Crows.
Yeah.
And then A Dance with Dragons.
I was like
the
dragons at the end.
Correct.
Great.
Beautiful. I love the way you're thinking through this.
Yeah, thanks.
Because this could have been a nothing task if you're like, oh, I don't know. But you're like, no, wait, I've got clues. So you're on 6 points.
Great.
And your final point
this
will
is better
be
than Dominion freaking prosperity.
Now, which one
It's my new favorite
is my
game.
coming up?
Your coming up is going to be... I'm going to make a big call right now.
Okay.
Because I think it's a funny joke.
Okay.
I think it's A Dance with Dragons. I think you've been secretly reading a bunch of Game of Thrones books, and it's A Dance with Dragons, the 5th one.
So your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Oh, such a good guess, but unfortunately, I am only up to the 4th book.
Oh,
Feast for Crows.
ridiculous.
That is something I would do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, great. 6 out of 10. That's
out of 10.
fantastic,
Yeah.
considering 10 was like
Wait,
unattainable.
no, then I didn't get that last point.
That was great. But you
Great.
see what I mean? Like, these are interchangeable.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I make this tangible for Jett and for the listeners?
Yeah.
We'll make it a game.
Yeah, let's make it a tangible game for the audio listeners.
For just Jett.
For just me.
Anyway, I'm glad you had fun.
That was really fun. I'm so glad I got 6 out of 10 there. That
was a really good score. I was like, I didn't want to tell you that 10 was the most technically possible.
Yeah.
Because I was like...
No, 11 would be. You get the five of them all correct, and then get the 5
Oh,
in
yes, with
order,
the
and
new
then
system, 5 is possible. With the old system, only 4 is possible.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about the... Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So 11 is... Because I thought you were going to get like 2.
No.
But you
I didn't
really thought through the different structures of the words.
Yeah.
Like you did better in that first section than I thought.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So are you so great. You're going to read A Feast for Crows.
Correct.
Is there anything else that you wanted to say
No.
about it? So, okay, you just wanted to mention it, but you wanted to be a bit longer, add longer to
Correct.
the
Yeah.
hour and...
Well, I didn't know it was going to be this
54 that we
episode.
had.
Anyway, am I following up now?
Yeah, you're following up.
This is another fun piece of podcast.
What are you following up with?
Okay, so back in episode
Good
2
question.
or 3,
Yeah, something like that.
we were talking about this book, which it was my coming up at that point.
Adrian Tchaikovsky's Children of Memory.
Now, this was the one where there was some big spiders and some regular-sized octopuses,
Oh!
and we were guessing
Yeah.
what was next.
Wow, you have some really fun games.
I'm trying to bring some games and some callbacks. So,
That's
I
great.
finished this book now.
Yeah, great.
Don't have time for it, and I finished it.
That's
But I
okay.
have time to follow up.
Yep.
Now, we both thought it's probably maybe going to be birds.
Oh yeah, we were figuring out
Yep.
what the next thing was.
And my guess was bats,
I said big birds, didn't
and
I?
your guess was ravens.
Oh.
And I said they're going to get bigger, and you said they're going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was
We
it?
both thought birds. My guess was bats. Your guess was ravens.
I mean, a bat is not a bird, to be clear.
It's an insect, I guess.
What? It's a mammal.
It's a mammal, because it
It doesn't,
doesn't
lay eggs.
except for the 2 that do.
You think a bat's a bird?
I had to think that through.
You're
No,
like, we both
what
thought
were
it was a
we thinking?
bird.
Something
You thought it was a
flies.
raven, and I thought it was a bat. A bat's not a bird.
Why
That is so
Why
far-
did this not come up at the time?
It did. I don't
Did
think.
it?
Well, I don't think
I'll
you
have to check the
said.
tape.
Oh, we both chose birds. You know, you chose a raven. I chose a bat.
Anyway, what I'm now
A
going to do
bat.
is read.
Just because they have wings,
I'm
a
gonna
butterfly is birds. Is a sugar glider a bird?
No, it's probably a mammal. How
Yeah.
would you even say that?
Uh,
I'm going to read.
they don't
like-
have feathers. Oh my god. It's not a bird.
Are you done?
No, I'm really. It's really frustrating me that you think a bat's a bird.
We were seeing. We were,
How long have
we
you
were
thought-
also, We were also thinking of like bees. We were actually thinking of flying things, not birds.
Yes.
I think is a more accurate.
Yeah, that's why
comment.
I'm like, have you always thought the bats were birds?
No,
Then why did you say
because I think
it
we were
now?
talking about land animals, sea animals, something that flies is the kind of lens we had on it.
Oh my god.
I'm now going to read
This is the worst episode. This is the Dominion prosperity of episodes. Only because I hate it now.
Great.
Because you
Even though
mentioned
it's
bats.
good.
Yeah, it's overall been pretty good.
Yep.
But now that we've had this one
Yep.
thing that has made me absolutely despise
Yep.
the situation.
You got to get back on board for this joke to work.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to read the acknowledgements. This is on page like 0, like before the book starts,
Okay.
right? This was the first thing I read when opening this book,
Okay.
just after we had done that
Okay.
podcast. Like, there's
What?
a car. Did you hear the car?
I didn't. Yeah,
It's
I heard
gone.
the car.
First thing I read after opening this book, before the story starts, before the prologue.
Yeah.
Acknowledgements. Thanks to my early readers Annie Tchaikovsky and Roland Orton, and to my agent Simon Kavanagh for looking at this after I'd begun to go cross-eyed with it. Thanks also to Michael Tchaikovsky for his invaluable advice on planetary science. Finally, a nod to my research sources, Jennifer Ackerman's The Genius of Birds and Bernd Heinrich's Mind of the Raven.
Oh!
First thing I read.
So wait, so is it ravens or is it like...
It was ravens.
It was ravens.
Your bats aren't
You
birds.
didn't say... You bats on birds. God damn it. I got it right.
Yes.
I got it right. It was ravens.
Completely right.
Were they big?
No.
Oh,
And
damn
the
it.
focus of this book was different. The
Okay.
previous ones were being like spiders and also humans, half. Then octopuses and also spiders and also humans.
Yeah.
Half or a third.
Yeah.
This one was like humans on a new planet. Also, previously, like in between the books, we picked up a couple of ravens, and it's kind of about them, but it's not about their communication and consciousness in the same way as the previous books.
Right.
And no, they didn't get bigger. But wild that you guessed that with no context.
Yeah, I haven't read the
knowing
books.
nothing.
This is what I've been saying. I'm really good at predicting things. I'm really, really good at predicting things.
You were hoping the Rocket's friends lived though.
Yeah, but that's just like, you know, just the deep-seated hope in my heart. That's not realistically. I knew they were going to die. But
Anyway,
I'm really great at
that's
predicting.
my,
Wow,
That's my
ravens.
That's my fun follow-up.
Oh my god!
I've been waiting for like 5 weeks to tell you that.
That's crazy. Oh, this follow-up section is really going off with like going
I'm
off with
hoping
a hit.
so.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just collided with
Oh my god!
the
Don't go
base
like,
of the mic stand.
I told you before this episode.
you did.
Don't
you did.
kick the mic
To be
stand.
fair, that was 2 hours ago.
To be fair, bats aren't birds.
Yep. Two equally reasonable mistakes
No.
to make. I never actually said that bats are birds, did I?
Yes, you did.
No, damn.
Check the tape.
Ah,
Check the tape. We got a tape of it.
damn.
Listeners, write in. Throw stones at Reuben
People
with
in
notes tied to
glass
them.
houses or whatever you said.
I don't think our listeners live in glass houses. I
Yeah,
think they
yeah.
live in well-insulated homes and or apartments.
Must be nice.
Hear that, listeners? Reuben thinks you live in glass houses. Like freaking plebs. You're just getting roasted in there in the summertime and freezing
Freezing
in
in
the
the
winter.
winter. That's great.
You're really attacking our listeners. First you say the bats are birds.
Then I imply that there are non-audio listeners.
Yeah. No, that was before then.
Oh.
Then
well,
you get the
all right.
order of events wrong. Oh, gosh darn it. Oh, is it my... It's my...
It's your turn when you're ready.
Okay. So I have
What
to do
is
coming up.
your coming up?
My coming up is Across the Spider-Verse.
Great.
A third
Fantastic.
Marvel thing on
Oh.
this episode.
It's mostly... well, yeah, sure. All right, great.
It's a sequel to Into
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse, the Miles Morales Spider-Man movie.
Great.
Made by Sony Animation, Sony Pictures. The first one was incredible. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's the best Spider-Man film. I'm not afraid to say it. Freaking shoot me.
I must admit, my eyebrows raised, and then I thought about it. I
Apple
was like,
Shoot
yeah,
Me is one of the 23 people that you're choosing to
Oh,
shoot.
damn, you missed it.
Yeah.
Shoot Me is one of the 24 next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they go up every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they only started murdering people this year, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
The lore of this joke is really weird.
Maybe we should watch a YouTube video on the history of Apple. I have a separate section in there for like how many people they've murdered and how long they've been doing it for.
Yeah. I mean, did they start in like 98?
It doesn't
'Cause that's
matter.
like-
Reuben, this is over 2 hours long. We needed bats on
Okay.
birds. And let me talk about my coming up.
God, there's more. I was ready to move on to following.
I haven't
follow
said
up.
it. Your
All right.
coming up was like an 8-minute game where I
But
moved
it was
around
great.
paper.
It was good
The
content.
listeners couldn't even see it.
Blowing out the microphone in my
Oh.
excitement. Go, tell us.
Um,
It's Miles Morales. What is there to say?
It's been, the last one came out, what, like 20...
I think it was 5 years ago. I think it was 2018.
20, yeah, maybe it's 27. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was 20...
It was right towards the end of the year. I remember.
I think it
'cause
was
saw at
2018.
Christmas.
and it was really good.
So it could have been.
It was amazing. I have like friends that I've taken to see it that don't really like going to like films, like Marvel stuff even.
Oh yeah, sure.
Or
Well, it's super different to that stuff.
yeah, but also just like films and people are like, oh, it's an animated film. It was the most like recent example of animated films aren't those for kids, and then people see it and they're like, oh, they're actually incredible.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. So I've been super hyped for this second one. It's been years in the making. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the directors of the first one, aren't directing, but they are producing, and they did write it, I believe. Like they're still very involved. Don't know if I know that they're very involved because they've like done a bunch of casting with the new cast.
And this is a two-parter.
This is a two-parter, which I forgot about, which is going to be good to keep in mind to going into the film, I think. But
remember, you're only seeing half a movie.
Yeah, it's like when you go in and see June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's...
Yeah.
Stay tuned for June content.
Oh, great. So it's Across the Spider-Verse this time.
Stay tuned.
Say Juned?
Yeah.
Juned.
I was setting up that joke for you. I was hoping you would see it and be like, stay tuned, everyone. You didn't. And so then you were halfway through your sentence and I was like, I can't let this joke fall by the wayside. So I just made it anyway.
You didn't pronounce it correctly.
Juned. It's because I'm making a joke on tuned.
Yeah.
So I have to.
You said Juned or something.
I don't remember what I said.
It's Juned?
Juned.
Like the month.
Yeah, like the month.
Like the month of June.
Like we just got Juned. Oh, sorry, that dates the episode.
Wait. Yeah, it's June now.
Don't date the episode.
Anyways, last Into the Spider-Verse was all the different Spider-Verses coming into like Miles' universe, and this one's Across the Spider-Verse. Seems like they're going into other Spider-Verse dimensions, which will be fun. I'm really excited for it. We're going to see it tomorrow on June 3rd. Wouldn't you like to know what day it is? Yeah, I'm super pumped for that. It could be my film of the year. We'll see. So I'm very excited. Well, the last one was really good.
Yeah.
Don't roll your eyes at me.
It was more shock than anything.
For the second time this episode.
It feels too early to make such a declarative statement.
You know what? Also a declarative statement.
Bats are birds, which I did not declare with any confidence at all. They fly, all right?
You said it like multiple times before I pointed it out. I
said we both thought it would be birds, and then I clarified.
No,
yeah, it implies they're in the same category, doesn't it?
So that's my coming up. My following up. I can't remember anything that I've done.
Great.
I haven't actually looked at name some things that I've done.
So this is on you now. My notes, and that's fair.
Yeah,
my
notes.
my
you know what? I've got
something.
Something. This is something that was going to be my started it, maybe, or finished it. Like it was something that I've been trying to fit in. So I'm going to fit it in this way.
Great. Even though it's not follow up.
A couple of weeks ago, a long time ago now, my starter was I've started putting all my tasks on Notion.
Ah, great. Okay, here we go.
So to organize my stuff on Notion.
All right.
That was going really well.
Yep.
Like really well.
You were loving it.
Like seamlessly well.
Yep.
And then for some freaking idea, I got this idea in my mind of, what if I got a notebook and then had a physical notebook that I wrote things in? Because that would be better than putting it in my phone or my computer and having a device, blah, 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 blah. I should just have a notebook that I take everywhere. So I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
I spent more money than I'd like to disclose on this notebook, making it like super pretty and exactly how I want it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, and I've been using it like every day, which is great. But I still, on the Notion side of things, that was perfect and was working perfectly. Mm-hmm. And now I've just replaced it for something maybe as good. So
how do you do that kind of in progress section? Do you like half shade a circle or something?
Oh, yeah. No, I just list all of the things that I have to do and then cross them out. So I don't have that Notion like board of moving things from next up.
It's nice and physical though.
Yeah, it's nice and
done.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. I'm still also using the Notion for like work things and project organization. And we've set up like a Notion for our podcasting, like process stuff. So I think I'm still going to apply that stuff and use it in other spaces, more like professional sort of things that I do, more productive things, but for my day-to-day things that I have to do, all going in this new notebook. So that's fun.
Great.
That's
cool follow-up. That's really good. Yeah, I like that.
I'm glad.
It's interesting. Oh, maybe it's a longer conversation for another time, but for some things you like the tech solutions.
Arguably, half of the things that we've talked about, all the things that we've talked about in this episode have been a longer conversation for another time.
You're right. I'll leave it.
That's kind of what this podcast is. No, I actually want to know now.
Well, in some things you really like the tech-based solution and the cutting edge. And
me personally.
Yes, you. And in other things you're like, like a pen and paper, like get the screens out of my life thing. It's an interesting dichotomy.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah.
It's like in my mind, I have
You're like,
two
I need
bears.
2 iPads, but I don't want a phone.
I have 2 bears,
Yeah.
and then there's the one that you feed
and the one that you don't feed.
The one that eats you or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
What's the notebook in that? It's one of the bears, obviously. It's
No, the
only 2
notebook's
bears.
me.
Oh, so the Notion eats the notebook?
Yes.
Yep.
And then the other bear
Yep.
is Goose.
Okay, great. And so you feed Goose, and you don't feed Notion, and so Notion eats you, which is the notebook?
Notion eats the notebook that isn't me.
All right,
or is the bear that eats does the notebook eat Notion? You know?
This
is your fault for bringing like multiple games to our to our podcast. See what you've done to me? I think I have 2 bears in my brain or heart or one of them. Maybe my left pinky toe.
Apparently.
Yeah.
All right. Have we got an outro? Let's do an outro.
Our outro is
thanks everyone.
Subscribe to this so you can hear it every single time we record or upload.
See you next week or in a month and a half.
Yeah, no. I think when these go up, we're gonna like have them be regular.
I think it will be regular.
It will be regular. So see you when it is regular.
Yes.
When that time is.
Yes.
Big thanks to Hetty Moysey for
Huge.
our podcast art.
Yep.
Look at it. It's great.
It's great.
It's so good. I love it. Anything else that we have to say or like?
No.
No?
No.
We really don't have a lot of an outro, do we?
It's great. It'll build over time if it needs to, and if it doesn't, bye.
I'm gonna do a little plug for Reuben.
Plug for Reuben.
Yeah, you have a portfolio website now, don't you?
I do. Yes, I do for my dance.
For your dance and stuff.
Link in the description.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go to. I was gonna say the URL, but I don't know it.
It's just my name.com. It took.
How'd you get that?
Well, my name's monstrous. My full name.
myname.com. Doesn't seem too bad.
We'll link it down below.
We'll link it down below.
If I speak it, it'll go in one ear and out the other.
You didn't want to do Reuben MD for your website name?
I thought about it.
Everyone would think you're a doctor again.
I thought about it. I even thought about like branding it fun. That way being like the doctor of dance. But then I was like,
nah.
It's too specific.
Yeah. I think I just want to, just because I really think it's funny. How you mentioned to me a story about one time you were commenting on like a YouTube video and you're like, I don't know what you said. You're like,
I don't know either, but it was something fairly harmless.
And someone was like, fuck you, where'd you get your doctorate?
Yep. And I don't even know if I ever replied.
Yeah, it's so funny because you're using it as
M.D.
It's so good. It's so good.
It was really funny.
It's really funny. Yeah, go check that out.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing plugs if we're doing things.
Great, we're doing plugs. Do you want to plug your portfolio as well then?
No.
Don't look at Jett's portfolio.
Sure, I have a website that has all of the design stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, I have like apps and like websites and social media and.
Do you want to talk about wrong answers only?
Oh no, let's talk about that another time when I have more brain space.
Probably, and more to say.
I'll probably use it as a what thing? I started it or finished it when I'm
finished
doing
it.
stuff. Basically, okay, I will give a quick little plug. I'm making a card game. You can go to wronganswersgame.com or look at Wrong Answers Game on Instagram and check it out. And I'll chat about it at a later date. But
That's coming up?
Yeah, it is coming up. I'm too tired to get into that now.
Yeah, let's not. Let's save it for when.
I want to collapse.
Let's give it proper attention.
I can't believe you brought games. I can't believe you thought
I
bats
brought
were
fun
birds.
games.
You really like all of the most stupid stuff that I love about this podcast was like backloaded to the.
That's why I was trying to do it at the start.
20 minutes of the.
That's why I had such a chat beforehand. I was like, what if I just brought it up at the start though? And you're like, no, we'll put it together with coming up. And I was like,
I don't remember that chat. We have all of our podcast chats about what should and shouldn't be like happening in the podcast on the podcast.
What's that? You haven't heard many? That's why we're so disorganized.
Exactly.
And that's the magic of indie podcasting.
What do you mean? We're not talking about other random stuff after the outro and the plugs.
I'm imagining that all this is cut.
No, it's not.
Okay. Do you want to redo the intro from the top?
No.
Which is not a thing that we've ever done before.
Why would we redo the intro? The intro or the outro?
Sorry, the outro.
Oh my god!
We should restart.
Thank you everyone for listening this week. I've been Jett. That's been Reuben. Say
bye. That was good. I like that.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks everyone.